ginger eye round the back of me black ass, chasing me like a devil, pot belly of the beast, calling me a dickhead, there is no resist. Closing inch by inch, got me in a pinch. Modern day Scotty Rock, a laundry lynch. No use to fight back. MMA, knock your nigga head like a KKK. Hush your nigga mouth if you can't walk the talk. Smoke. Me running, really, really fast. Ginger eye.
What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? As usual, hope you're doing well. It is a Thursday. We're doing our usual Thursday stream. What is going on, Zach? Excuse me. What is going on, Zach? What is going on, Kurt? Zachary, as usual. Thank you very much for posting the link in the comments. You know, I appreciate that. I rented out a 70mm IMAX theater for this stream. Your head is gonna look huge, bigger than it already does. You know, fucking. I never realized about my head. I never realized I have a square head until I ended up on Fish Tank and everybody started fucking pointing it out. And here I am. Every time I look at my face, I'm like, oh, dude, fucking SpongeBob, square head, dude. I'm like, damn it. God damn it. But, oh, man. Anyway, Smart Moron says, do you know people write gay UFC fan fiction, most popular pairing being Khabib and Makhachev? Yeah, I'm not surprised about that at all. You know, at this point in time, I would be surprised if they didn't do that. I mean, that is was it Rule 34, R34 or something like that? If it exists on the internet, there is porn of it. I believe that was the saying, but it would not surprise me. And of course, it's got to be those two because they're Muslims, right? Like here's the thing. You guys know my opinion on Islam, right? The religion, not the guy. And you know that it's not the way I prefer to do things or the way that I prefer to look at things. However, like I can at least respect people who are stringent about their beliefs, whether they're a Jew or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Christian, right? And it does bother me to see people who, even if I think they're heretical, right? Their beliefs are heretical. They are purposefully targeted as a means of trying to like fuck with them over those beliefs because they wouldn't do like Israel Adesanya versus they wouldn't do like Israel Adesanya and Alexander Volkanovski. They wouldn't do that. I mean, maybe they would, but like it wouldn't be the most popular pairing is what I'm talking about. Those are guys that train together. They consider themselves to be pretty good friends. You see them hanging out from time to time, but because it's Khabib and Islam who are two devout Muslims and Muslims don't do the whole gay marriage thing, that is like they go for that, you know. It's really, really stupid, really annoying. But hey, it is what it is. You do have a square head. Don't shave bald ever, dude. When I go to Brazil, I am seriously considering getting hair implants, you know, or a transplant or whatever it could be. I'm seriously considering getting something done because truthfully, like, you know, like it doesn't look as bad as it usually does, I feel like, but it's definitely thinning and you see a bald spot back here. Dude, I went to the beach about a month ago, I want to say. I went to the beach and I got a sunburn on the top of my head for the first time. It was the craziest thing. I could touch it and I would feel the heat, like, when you touch a sunburn or you hover over it, you can feel the heat emanating from it. And then I also, whenever I would look down, my wife would be like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking red." She took a picture of it, and you can see the redness of the scalp, and I'm just like, "Fuck, I gotta do that now." Oh God, dude. I'm not a hat guy in any way, shape, or form. I've never liked hats, right? They're just not. I don't like wearing shit on my head. I don't like jewelry like that either. That's why I have my wedding ring somewhere around, but like I don't wear my wedding ring a ton. And then I don't do like I don't. Here. Take a look, boys. I don't do I don't do like necklaces, right? I don't like shit hanging off my body like that, you know? I don't even like clothes. I don't even like clothes. I'd rather walk around nude. But like, yeah, it just sucks having to wear hats now because I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna put sunblock on the top of my head, rubbing it into my hair. I think I'm all set. I think that'll probably just accelerate the hair loss, if anything, rubbing a chemical on my hair. Oh man, but what's going on, Mr. Prosy? Hope you're doing well. I got to pull something up because I wanted to take a look at something here today. One moment. Uh yes. Oh no, wait. Actually, I could use my own tweet. I could use my own tweet. I'm not going to talk about it right this second, but I wanted to talk about something. Want to make sure. Okay, we're good. We are a golden. We are a golden. Oh, excuse me. Get long flowing blonde like an Afghan hound. I might have to do that. I'll get like on top I'll do blonde, and on the sides I'll keep the red hair. Uh, I like a fat Cuban chain and an expensive cologne. Yeah, you like a like there's a lot of people who do that. There's a lot of ethnic groups that do that. You see like Guido Italians, you see like Albanian or like Armenian, like fucking greaseball looking dudes that do that. You see a bunch of different Hispanic groups that'll do that. Like there's one specific kind of guy that exists across a bunch of different ethnic groups, and there's little variations within that single guy who exists on that spectrum. But like you can find the same kind of guy in like Little Havana as you would Little Italy, as you would like the Albanian section, etc., etc. It's just funny how that guy is like ubiquitous across all of these different groups of people. Uh, I have really long hair and it sucks in the summer for the opposite reason. Oh yeah. That's one thing. Like my hair doesn't grow down; it grows out. You guys have seen. I grow a fucking ginger fro basically, and like I won't shave it off, but I'll get a haircut and my head will like I'll feel how cool it is compared to when I had the ginger fro, and I'll just be like, whoa, that's crazy. Whoa, dude, that's crazy. That's so crazy, dude. Whoa. Dude, it's so insane, dude. I can't believe it. Oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. Sorry, I'm gonna check something really quickly. Okay, I'm good. I sold a couple of things on eBay. My eBay store is it's not just an eBay store. I sell through Facebook, I sell through eBay. I have a Mercari store, and now I have a Vinted store as well. And I have been making sales through all four of those, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I've been very lucky. I mean, I haven't started a business or anything. I haven't started a fucking business, but like most people, when they start something like that, they like lose money for months and then finally they hit their stride. Me, I was lucky enough to kind of start making money off of the things that I was doing right away. But the thing is, that early success has kind of set me up for like the failures that I'm feeling like for instance, right? Like some of the stuff that I bought, um I bought a speaker and a mic for 1998, thinking that I could turn around and sell it for like $25 to $40, somewhere around there, and I know that I'm not going to sell the thing because it's too cheap, and it doesn't have I almost said USB. It has USB, but it doesn't have Bluetooth, so you can't even like attach Bluetooth to it, hook link a Bluetooth device to it and like play music or anything like that. It's just straight up like for karaoke or something like that. I'm gonna have to hope and pray that maybe around Christmas time I can be like, hey, this makes a really good Christmas gift if you have like a daughter or like a granddaughter or a niece, or I don't know, a really effeminate nephew who he wants to be a singer, and you can give him this stuff and he'll feel like a little singer. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna have to hope and pray that somebody will come around and take it off my hands for that. I know somebody with your hair type who grew it out. It was like a 6-inch afro. Oh yeah, dude, fucking hey, that's how mine is. And my beard is the same way too. My beard doesn't grow down, it just grows out. It's insane. I don't know what the hell it is with me. My brother's losing his hair at a rate that trumps mine, right? He is like, I mean, he's still got plenty of hair, but he's like really losing his hair. And I remember growing up, he had like the long locks. He had like, for a good like 4 or 5 years, he just grew his hair out because he was like, nah, I want to have a flow. Not a fro, but a flow. And he was able to do that, but me, fucking forget about it. Forget about it. You could the longest I went without a haircut, I think might have been like between 6 and 8 months. I think I might have been in like the 6th or 7th grade. I don't know. My parents just like didn't bother to take us for haircuts. With my brother, that was easy because he was growing his hair out. But for me, like I said, well, and you could have taken a ruler and went just stuck it into my hair, and it would have been like 4 or 5. Like it would have been insane. It would have been insane. Oh, excuse me. Just put an 11% sale on my store. First time in years. It's tight out there right now. Oh yeah, it definitely is. What's going on, Mid Melfi? Not a fro, but a flow. Exactly. I am waiting to see what my terminal length is. Hopefully never have to cut it. Yeah. That's a weird idea that your hair will just be like, all right, this is long enough and it'll just stop, Writing the Scott and Jay Dyer one right now. What are you talking about? Oh, fan fiction. The gay UFC fan fiction with me and Jay Dyer. Oh boy. Sorry, just looking around right now. I've been a little down in the dumps today. I'm not gonna lie, and there's a couple of different reasons for that, but I'm not gonna trauma dump on all you guys. It's just I think back to my childhood and I think of how fucked up it was, and it's one of those things where I don't even realize, like when you come from a fucked up home life, there's a lot of things that seem normal or just that you don't think about. And even if something is like, it's not normal and it's weird and bad and things like that, you may not realize just how bad it is and just how much of a serious effect that it had on you into your adulthood and everything like that, And this Lindsay Clancy shit is really hitting home for me because, obviously I survived into adulthood. My mom didn't strangle me with an exercise band, but there are so many women out there who end up like this. Holy shit. Look at the fake cry. Look at the dry cry. She's got all this makeup on for the TikTok. None of it's running down her face right now because she's faking. She's a fucking faker. Look at that. Get that child away from her. Fucking if CPS did their job instead of just taking people away from like loving homes over political differences and stuff like that, they would come into this house. They'd be like, "Yo, lady, you are certifiable. We need to take that child." That is what would happen. But unfortunately, that's not the way that things work. I mean, look, like somebody pointed out, and of course, it was a woman who pointed this out. Not that she's wrong just because she's a woman, but a woman would be the one to say this. She is handling this in a way that is a lot better than like strangling your child, right? Doing all this, right? Like it's ice. She's throwing it at a wall in her bathroom. It's going into the bathtub where it's going to melt and go down the drain. Okay. I'm not going to pretend like this is like somehow some kind of evil or bad thing. However, there are aspects of this that I do have a big fucking problem with. Like, for instance, she's putting it on TikTok as a means to try and show everybody, I'm having a hard time, feel bad for me, give me all the likes and the attention, because that's what women do nowadays. It's just there's an attention economy out there. Whether it pays money or not, women don't even really care that much. What they're mostly concerned with is getting as much attention from the other girlies as they can. They have replaced the attention of men with the attention of each other, and because of that, we're seeing this type of shit there right now. But then, in addition to that, you also have this thing where she is honestly like here's the thing. How far away do you think that child is right now? Where do you think that child is in the house right now? Um, do you think that child is like far enough away where he or she can't hear what's going on? Do you think anybody else in the house has no idea that something is going down in the bathroom right now? That mommy is like doing some weird shit? No, of course not. Houses have thin walls. No matter how big your house is, there's a good chance you're going to hear someone doing that. This is the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, like, sure, strangling your children is like about as awful as you can get, right? I'm sure there's a thing or two that's probably worse that you could imagine, but I don't want to imagine it. So I'm going to say it's about as worse as you can get, about as bad as you can get. But below that extreme, there exists this woman right here who is so self-centered. She is so emotionally charged about everything all the time that the second she doesn't get something that she wants, she has to become an emotional terrorist. This is basically no different from when you're sitting at home and your mom's in a bad mood and she starts, say, unloading a dishwasher, and she starts doing that shit with the dishes. She's doing it as a means to try and get everybody in the house to do that, to feel that like hair standing up on the back of their neck, that like tense, like, my chest and my back, there's just like the muscles won't fucking relax. That's what she's trying to do here. There are so many different layers to this, and it all can be summed up by this woman is a piece of shit. This woman is a piece of shit, and she's going to ruin her children's lives, because her children are going to grow up and they're going to be like, wow, mom's a kook, I don't want to bring friends around. And because of that, it's going to be harder for them to have friends, because friends, it's not like you're dating, but there is almost kind of like an expectation that at some point you're going to end up over at your friend's house and you're going to meet their parents and you're going to have like some kind of extended or more in-depth conversation or whatever with them. And if this child is like, I don't want my friend around my kook mother, I don't want my friend to meet my parents because my parents are fucked up, it's going to be a lot harder for them to make friends. They're going to be saddled with anything and everything that this fucking asshole, this absolute piece of shit, decides she wants to saddle her children with. And that is what happens 99% of the time. 99.99% of the time, a child will survive into adulthood, but it ends up being that they have these weird malfunctions and these strange or maladaptive patterns. And because of that, it makes it a lot harder for them to survive in the world. Some people, it makes it practically impossible for them in some cases. And we sit here and we look at the mainly sons, because it's mostly the sons that this happens to. I'm not saying the daughters are not affected by this kind of behavior, but it's mainly the sons that turn out like visibly, noticeably that much worse because of this type of behavior. These sons are blamed for the upbringing that they had. These sons have to take what these people, if you want to call them that, gave them and go out into the world and try to fit in, and it does not work. And what happens is it creates a vicious cycle. It creates it fulfills a vicious prophecy, if you will, where a child is weird from the start and they never get the help or the love that they need in order to try and be normal and fit in just fine. And because of that, when they go to school, well, all the kids at school are like, "You're fucking weird, get away from me." And then they go to try and get a job, and the person who is hiring, the hiring manager or HR or whoever it is, they go, "Yeah, this guy kind of creeps me out a little bit," etc., etc. We take what is ultimately the fault and responsibility of these people, and we assign that to the child who was abused by them, and we don't even give it a fucking second thought. Meanwhile, her husband, her sisters, her brothers, her friends, the rest of the family, and most of all, her fucking retard therapist is gonna sit here and be like, "You did the best you could. Parenting doesn't come with a manual. It's not your fault if he can't function. That's his fault. He has to take responsibility for himself." And this kid, who is now a man, is going to stumble through life. Failure to launch is essentially the way that I would describe it. This failure to launch that they call their son is going to stumble through life and do fucking awful. And there's so many, so many, so many young men, but women too, like I said, because at the end of the day, like if you're a child, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you're going to be negatively affected by having this fucking freak around you. Um, these kids, these dudes, there's they just it's like they just have nothing they can do. They're just done before they even began. Their lives are over before they began. Their lives are ruined before they even really had lives. And um they fuck, I lost my train of thought for a second. They get blamed, and they are expected to fix it because nobody cares. And you know there's so many children. This is what I was thinking about. There's so many children that fall through the cracks, especially nowadays. If you're a straight white male, this is probably the story that you have gone through in some way, shape, or form. And if not, then fantastic. I would never, never, never wish anything like having a mother like this on anybody else. I had a mother like this. She wasn't throwing ice at the fucking bathroom wall and screaming or anything like that, but she had a lot of fucking crazy things that she said and did and all this other shit. And she has not apologized. She's not willing to apologize, and I've stopped trying to work things out with her. It's just whenever I see her, regardless of the context, it's just, hey, and then I walk off, um, there's so many young men today that came from an environment like this one, and that's part of the reason why men are slipping through the cracks as a whole, is because there's just nobody who cares. There's nobody who wants to help them. There's nobody who wants to save anybody, and that's not going to be good. You don't, the last thing you need is men, and particularly the demographic of men who hold up the world to be like, Why would I keep holding up the world? Because I need to be a heckin' wholesome, good fucking person. I need to be a good fucking person. No, I don't care about that. Get the fuck away from me. Get out of here. You know, this woman could not survive if it was not for the men in her life and outside of her life, the men that she doesn't have any real relation to, but they keep the roads working. They mind the infrastructure. They come to her house when something is broken and the husband can't take care of it, and they fix it, etc., etc. The police, right? Because we all know how awful female police officers are. Um, she could not survive if it was not for men, and people like her are responsible for why there's so many men falling through the cracks. And when those men try to say, look, I don't want to be angry at the world, I don't want to feel this like this awful, terrible feeling that I feel, I just want to fit in, I don't want people to be hateful towards me. I don't want people to be repulsed by me. I don't want to be repellent. I need help though. When a man says something like that, maybe not exactly that, but you get what I mean. When a man reaches out for help, he gets spit on. And again, it's usually by this kind of woman, you know, the woman who thinks because she's a mom, as if that's an impressive feat. Oh, you had sex. Congratulations. Fucking, she thinks that she thinks she's more than she is, you know? Scott, how many hysterical moms could you fight off at once? Honestly, quite a few. You know, I've seen so many videos of dumb bitches throwing ice cubes into a tub, acting like that does anything. LMFAO, buy a punching bag, you fucking idiot. Yeah, you know? Well, and you see, this is one of the other things I was going to say about this. You just reminded me of that. Hitting a punching bag, even if you put it on, say, the internet, it's simply not enough. There has to be a feminine aspect to the destructive activity. And throwing ice cubes at a wall underneath your bathtub, excuse me, over your bathtub, that is perfect for them because it is theatrical. It gives them an opportunity to point the camera directly at their face and make this face, this kind of fucking noise and face while they're throwing the ice cubes, you know. If they were just hitting a heavy bag, it's not theatrical enough, you know. Women are theater kids at heart. They love doing that theater kid type bullshit. They love to they and it's all of them too. Like every single one of them, they have their own version of the theater kid bullshit. And this resonates with so many different women because it's their way of trying to be like, I'm letting the rage out. Feminine rage is oh, you don't want to mess with feminine rage, and then they do some fucking gay shit like this. You know, I remember there was it was my junior year of high school. I had an English teacher who I actually liked. She was cool, but she was a feminist. She made us read A Handmaid's Tale even though it was not on the curriculum, and I didn't even bother to read it. I just remember there being like scenes, if you will, or sections where they were like describing porn magazines and shit like that. I thought that was a weird thing to try and give to a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds. But hey, she after I forget what the occasion was, but we did this a few times that year. We made collages out of like some projects that we did, and that was her way of like it's blowing off steam. You know, you get to destroy something, and it's like I'm sitting here with scissors, like I'm sitting here with scissors, like just thinking, this is not destroying something. This is if I wanted to destroy something, I'd pick up the desk and I'd throw it at the fucking wall. If I wanted to destroy something, why do you think this is going to help me blow off steam? Maybe it helps you blow off steam, and if that's the case, fantastic, good for you. Everybody needs something, and it's a lot better than throwing ice cubes against a wall for TikTok, dry crying for the attention and the attention only. It like that's fine, but like that's not me. That's not my thing. I'm a guy. I need when I need to hit something and it has to break. Or if it doesn't break, it has to feel like good to hit. It has to be like, say, a punching bag, a heavy bag, you know? Man. Babies rule, best pet. Yeah. Yeah. She admits she says those things though, right? Just defends them. No, she either defends them or she denies them. Like for instance, I was a senior in high school. I had a friend. He was like a lifelong friend of mine. We don't talk anymore. And honestly, I feel kind of bad. I'll tell you why after. But I had this lifelong friend, right? And the thing is, we didn't have cars. And because of that, we would walk everywhere. And I mean literally everywhere. We would walk from like one side of town to the other, like 5 to 7 miles and stuff like that. We would cover that over the course of like an hour and a half to 2 hours. We were like quick. But um we were walking to this place, right, to grab some candy. It was a dollar store, and we were like, fuck it, let's get some candy. This place, in order to get there, we had to go down a state highway, right? Not an interstate, not like highway, but like I'm talking about like, something you would see. It's an artery through just your state specifically. And usually if the traffic is coming this way on this side, we're walking here. That way we can see the traffic as it's coming. But today, because of the place we were in, when we decided to go for that walk, we went down the other side of the road. So we were going with the traffic. Well, the reason I explain this is because we're just doing our thing, walking. I'm talking to my friend, and all of a sudden, boom, gets nailed by a car. Like it happened so quick. I didn't realize what happened until after he had already hit the ground. This dude flew like, I want to say 10 to 15 feet through the air, hit not like up in the air. I mean, like, well, like through, right? He hits the ground. He skids for another 20 to 50 feet. And I thought he was dead. I run over to him. By the time I get to him, he has still not moved. I'm calling his name. I know better than to touch him because you don't touch somebody who's just gotten nailed by a fucking car like that. Um, and by the way, I almost got hit too. Like I felt the wind. Had I been a foot or two this way, he may have gone under the car and I may have been in his situation that day the way it did go down. But I run over to him and he is not moving. It takes him another like 3 to 5 seconds, I want to say, to try and wake up. When he wakes up, if you've ever heard a deer that's been shot or got caught in a trap, or like a wolf or something like an elk or a gazelle or a deer that has been like caught by a predator, the noise it makes, that's the only way I could describe the noise that my friend was making. I will never forget the sound that he made. Um and this is December, by the way, in Massachusetts, so it's not exactly warm out. And my first thought is, fuck, I gotta flag down a car. I start trying to flag down some cars, like two or three, maybe even four cars pass on each side. Nobody's trying to help us. I take off my shirt, I put it on top of them. I was as fat as I am now back then, and it's in the middle of fucking like December in Massachusetts, like I said. So I'm sitting here shirtless in the wintertime. And finally, somebody pulls over. I would have called an ambulance, but my phone had died like 5 to 10 minutes before that. So this person who pulls over, they call an ambulance. The ambulance comes, they get him. They have to med flight him to Boston. And he was okay, luckily, but he had like, I think, a cracked, not spine, but well, yeah, spine meaning neck. Um, and then he had like another injury or two, I forget. Um, when I get home that night, right, my dad comes to pick me up. I get home, I walk in, my mom's sitting on the couch and she looks over at me and she's like, so and so got hit by a car. I was like, yep. And she goes, well, maybe now he'll look both ways before he crosses the street. That is what she said to me. Um, I wanted to throw a brick at her. I will I didn't even so much shit had happened already that I just like I didn't have the energy to like even say shit about it. I just walked off into my room. This very room here actually. and I pull like I remember this, right? This is you see, I'm telling the story, so I'm like telling it from start to finish as I remember it. This means absolutely nothing, but I remember shocking myself on the power cord that day, right? And the reason I say that is because like I walked into the room, I tried to unplug something. I think it was like a laptop charger, and I like shocked myself while I was trying to unplug it because I touched the prongs before they were fully out, so there was an electrical current still going through them. I remember that happening. And the reason why I would even bring that up is because just to tell you, like, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember it like it just happened 5 minutes ago, and I'm telling it to you now. And I think earlier this year, I think in like April, March or April, somewhere around there, I actually talked to my mother about that. And when I told that to her, she acted indignant. She was like, I never said that. As if I was just like making it up wholesale. As if I was just like, you know what? Time to tell a lie. Time to tell a lie. I'm gonna tell a lie. It's like, why the fuck would I do that? What purpose would that serve? I was in the middle. I wanted to try and work things out with my mother so that we could have more than just a cordial relationship. And I went to a therapist, not meeting, but appointment with her because I was that desperate to try to work things out with my mom. I actually broke a rule of mine, which is to not go to fucking therapy, right? And even worse, I went to her female therapist. And that's where that came up. I was just like, yo, like my whole life you have been absolutely like completely unfeeling and cold about everything. You've just been fucked up. Here's an example, you know? And that's how that happened. That's how that happened. She look, here's the thing. I'm sure she just doesn't remember it, right? That's the thing is people don't want to remember times they got angry because either A, they were wrong about it, and nobody wants to remember the time that they're wrong. That's embarrassing and uncomfortable. Or people don't want to remember every time they've ever gotten fucking angry because if you remember every time you've gotten angry, whether you were right or wrong, it's like that's just not a good way to live life, you know. People don't want to remember the time that they flew off the handle or anything, unless it's like a situation like, yeah, and then he said the customer was always wrong, and I said, actually, buddy, fuck you, the customer's always right. Let me speak to your manager. Like those are the only times that people want to remember the time that they flew off the handle. Every other time they just like it right out of their head into the garbage bin. So I'm not even saying that she was being completely and totally like untruthful or lying or just being otherwise like deceitful. I just said the same thing 3 times, I guess, but I'm not trying to say that she was being deceitful, but I could totally see her just not remembering it because to her it wasn't even that big of a deal in the first place. And then when I bring that up, she's instead of being fair and being like, well, I don't remember saying that, but I mean, it's been over 10 years since that happened, and you seem to remember me saying it. So I'll take your word for it. I shouldn't have said that, and I apologize. That is an awful thing to say. And the only guess that I could have is that I was not thinking straight about what I was saying and how it would come out. Maybe that was inappropriate to say in the moment, and I'm sorry that I did that. I shouldn't have done that. Like it's so crazy to me. Hold on one sec. Sorry. I just want to see something real quick. And sorry, I'm fucking anyway. Um sorry, I'm like I lost my train of thought. I got an offer from somebody for something that I bought, and I'm kind of trying to haggle with them a little bit to see if I can get a little bit more than what they wanted to offer me. The bottom line of what I was trying to say with that story about my friend getting hit by the car and my mother saying that is like, people don't always remember every time they got angry, and a lot of the time people try to forget times that they did or said something that was inappropriate, which is understandable. I don't think my mother's evil for that. However, the right thing to do in a situation like that would be to say, look, I don't remember that, and if I did do it, I apologize. Taking responsibility is not that hard, and taking responsibility does not mean that you're like a bad person or anything like that. And frankly, the best thing you can do in life for yourself, for your own conscience, is to just admit to yourself that you're not a good person. It's biblical. We're not good people. The only good is Christ. That is literally it. No, nobody, nothing else is good other than Christ. Everybody and everything else is flawed. It is dirty. It is there's a sullied um quality to it or to them. So if you are willing to just admit, okay, I'm not a good person. In fact, I'm probably the opposite in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean I'm like Satan. Doesn't mean I'm like the worst. It just means that I'm not Christ. I'm not God. It takes a certain humility to do that, though, and a lot of people don't have that, and they're not willing to try and get it either. You can learn it, but you have to put in effort to be able to do that, and most people just don't have that kind of thing. Um, what was I going to say? But yeah, like the right thing to do in a situation like that. And I do this, I'm not perfect myself, but like when my wife approaches me with a situation like that, even if I'm like, yo, I straight up don't fucking remember that at all. I don't think it happened. I'm not going to be like, fuck you, that didn't happen. I'm going to say like, look, like I don't remember that happening, but you know what? Like you feel so strongly about it. Maybe it did happen. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Your head's not going to explode if you do that. And you'll find that it makes a lot of things a lot easier for you. So many people, they claim to care about those around them, whether it's like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a daughter, a son, a mother, a father, things like that. So many people care. So many people claim to care about these people around them, but they don't. What it really is that they care about themselves, and they're utilizing everybody around them as a catalyst to further care about themselves. They don't have somebody around because they're genuinely good to have around, and there is a bond or anything like that. They have that person around because that person does things for them, and it makes them feel a certain kind of way. It makes them feel good either in general or about themselves. There is some kind of benefit. And because of that, you will find that most of the people in your life don't actually care about you. You are just a way for them to validate or affirm or otherwise benefit themselves. And it is a really unfortunate thing. It's not, and look, I'm not naive. I'm not someone who believes you should not be able to get something. Right. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing to have expectations or wants or needs of people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you will find that a lot of people, many of these relationships are one way in some way, shape, or form. And it's really not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. You know. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know if she has NPD or just traits, but one parent has it, and it's awful like this in very similar ways. They do remember and they do know they're fucked up. They just don't care because it doesn't provide them attention in any way. Exactly, exactly. Look, I told my mother. Again, in the interest of trying to build a deeper relationship with her, I told her, look, I know you go to a therapist. I want you, next time you go to the therapist, to ask, do you think I have narcissistic personality disorder, or do you think I have some kind of sociopathic or psychopathic tendency to me, right? Could you use any of those words to describe me, and could I feasibly be given that diagnosis? And the therapist basically said, yes, he's right, but not really. Not really. And the way she said it was, well, what you have is this and that and the other thing. And sometimes those uh mental illnesses, sometimes those disorders can voice themselves, or they can appear very similar or very much like narcissism or sociopathy. So basically what she said is, yes, but I can't get you basically, yes, but I can't get money out of you if all you are is a sociopath. So no. It's like fucking A. Oh, excuse me. Narcs lie about not remembering stuff all the time. I'm willing to bet she remembers. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. But the thing is, and this is the worst part about it, and this is another way you have to get over your ego as somebody who functions normally, and it can be really, 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 really fucking tough. It can be really, really difficult to do this. I struggle with it myself. I definitely struggle with it myself. Um, excuse me. When dealing with someone like that, you have to realize that there is no getting through to them, that there is nothing that is going to get them to like give you what you want and what you need. And you just got to get away from them. Or if you can't get away from them, you have to, whenever you're around them, you have to fucking tuck in your dick, or else they're going to take a swipe at it. You got to be on guard. You got to know, okay, this person's going to try anything and everything they can to manipulate me into whatever it is they want from me this day. So I need to be well aware of that, and I need to be ready to say, hey, fuck off. And it's not fun, because you know what? Like, I want to have a relationship with my mother, but she just doesn't want to have one with me, And if she wanted to have one with me, she would have apologized for some of the things she did and said. She would have apologized for some of the things that she forced me to do when I was a child that I did not want to do, that gave me the problems that I had. And you bet your ass this woman is going to be the exact fucking same. She's going to be exactly the same as my mom. She's going to fuck her children up, and then she's going to turn around and she's going to try to act like, oh, well, if you can't survive, it's your fault. It's your fault. She's going to find every which way that she can to try and be like, no, actually, it's on you. All I really needed was for my mom and my dad to just like shut the fuck up and listen. And not in that like, oh, you just got to listen, just talk to them kind of way. Literally like, hey, Scott, what do you feel you need to succeed? And I will say, okay, well, for one thing, you guys are screaming at me every other day for something half the time I didn't even do. The other half of the time, it's really not something to be screaming at me about. A lot of these things that are really fucked up that I shouldn't be doing. I did a couple of pretty bad things when I was a kid, but it's not like I was going to end up in prison or anything like that, or dead. It was just like stupid teenager idiot stuff, right? The things that I did that like do deserve some kind of like real punishment or something like that. The only reason I did them was because I was looking for somebody to care about me in the first place. So if you guys cared about me, maybe I wouldn't have been looking for this or that or the other thing. Maybe I wouldn't have done this, or wanted to be around this person. Like that's the story with all the girlfriends I had from like 6th grade to like fucking maybe like my junior senior year of high school. Was like, I didn't feel loved at home. I didn't feel like anybody cared about me. So when I finally did get a girlfriend, most of the time I was only with her out of desperation, and she was only with me out of desperation most of the time, right? Because let's be honest here, I was a repellent person back then. I was not easy or fun to be around. I know that. I know that I was not. Um but like the level of which I would throw myself into the relationship and be like, no, I can't live without her, no, and like the things that I would do and say, and just the bad situation I would put myself in over a girl, was just like, it's because I did not have any form of love anywhere else, and because of that I was like, hey, this girl says she likes me. Depending on who it was, we were telling each other we love each other. So, I mean, fuck, I better, oh, dude, I'm never going to have somebody who loves me like that again. Nobody's ever going to love me. I'm unlovable. If anybody was going to love me, I think my parents would love me, right? But my parents don't love me. So, here I am now. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I want to die because this girl is like playing head games. She's playing games with my psyche and shit like that. And instead of being like, bitch, get the fuck out of here, I'm like, no, no, oh, no, oh, no. You know, it's like fucking A, dude. Fucking A. What's going on, Avery? How you doing tonight? Scott, did you watch the EDP doc? No, I have not watched the EDP doc, Dismodu. You see, the thing is, I don't really know anything about EDP. I guess maybe that's why I would watch a documentary about him. Maybe that's the way it goes. Maybe that's the case, but I don't really know much about EDP. Was he like a Call of Duty guy back in the day? Was that what he was? I've heard the name. It's like EDP 445 or 455 or something, right? Is I've heard the name, and I've also heard that he might be into some stuff that is not actually it would be kosher by Epstein standards is what I heard. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm saying allegedly he is into that type of stuff. I have a Pepsi that I forgot. They make these glass bottle Pepsis, and a glass bottle. I have one that's been sitting here for a day or so. They make these glass bottle Mountain Dew Baja Blasts. They need to make Mountain Dew Voltage in a glass bottle with real sugar. I feel like they're probably working their way towards getting rid of Mountain Dew Voltage. And that like makes me fucking sad, because the memories I have of that first Democracy and like wanting Voltage to win, and it won. And because of that, like Voltage is my favorite soda, right? So it's not just a soda. It's that like so many childhood memories of me drinking Mountain Dew Voltage. So many memories of going to the store to like get one and coming back, and like it's a hot summer day, and I finally am able to take a sip of it when I get home, because I don't like to eat and walk. That's like a weird, annoying thing. I like to sit down and enjoy whatever I'm ingesting, but whatever I'm ingesting, whatever I'm eating or drinking. But yeah, it sucks. We don't get me wrong. We can talk more about what we're talking about here. It's just I was thinking about that, when I saw the Mountain Dew Baja Blast thing. But yeah, like it's so annoying how companies there's a hubris that exists at these companies, or with the people in the companies who they think they know better than the consumer. Mountain Dew Voltage is definitely popular. I don't believe it's not popular. They could easily still keep making 12 packs. They could easily keep making. I mean, the thing is, the 2-liter Voltage was like not that good, because excuse me, having a 2-liter of any kind of Mountain Dew is usually not a good thing, but especially the Voltage would go flat really, really quick. But I would love to see them make Mountain Dew Voltage in the glass bottles. That would be sick. It's a little warm because I forgot it was there for like an hour or two. Anyway, I need the glass bottle Baja. Damn, he has one. How was it? It was good, and the thing is, like I said, you can see it's made with real sugar. Or, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's good. You can taste the difference between regular Baja and that Baja. And I'm not going to say either one of them is better or worse. But I do like the glass bottle Baja Blasts. I do like them very much. Even the glass bottle Pepsi, like truthfully, when I met my wife, she was a Coke drinker. All she drank was Coke. She was not a Pepsi fan. They don't even have Pepsi in Brazil. Or if they do, it's just not that popular. They don't have Mountain Dew in Brazil, is what they don't have. They don't have any Mountain Dew products in Brazil. It's just not a thing there. But like, because she was always drinking Coke, I just started like almost exclusively drinking Coke. And because of that, I actually kind of lost the taste for Pepsi. A lot of the time, if you offer me Pepsi, I'm like, yeah. I was a Pepsi guy growing up. No, he was a Crash Out Eagles fan, but he got busted with some stuff. The doc covers it all. LOL. Yeah, maybe I'll have to watch the documentary then. Because I saw it making waves, the whole EDP thing. I had a similar fun time in school. Had to learn about limerence and its association to attachment styles developed in childhood. I don't know what limerence is, Zach. It's one of those fancy schmancy words that you know and I don't. Um, I've started stocking sugared sodas in cans long term for nostalgia or limited flavor. Modern canning, that shit lasts forever. Oh yeah, oh yeah, man. You know what I also miss is Mountain Dew Typhoon. That is the one that I wanted to win Democracy too, and unfortunately they gave it to Whiteout. And I'm pretty sure I feel like they may have rigged it. I feel like maybe they did. I'm not saying they did for sure, but like, because Whiteout was such a terrible flavor. Whiteout was like awful. It was like some kind of weird mint bullshit. Who wants mint soda? If I want mint anything, I'll get some gum. I'll get some ice cream or something. Mint chocolate chip. That's not bad. But like mint soda, get that out of my face. I will take the Typhoon. Thank you. I had on my Xbox 360 when they when they updated it from the panels. You remember that classic 360 panels interface? When they updated, I won't say upgraded, but when they updated that and you could actually have themes and stuff like that, I got the Mountain Dew Typhoon theme and I kept that as the theme that I would have on my my gamer tag interface for as long as I had the Xbox 360. At least, I feel like, ah, man, I forget the timeline. I feel like maybe they changed the interface again and they did away with themes, but I could be wrong. But like the bottom line is like I liked Typhoon that much. I did think it was good. I did think it was good. Limerence, an intense, consuming romantic obsession is frequently rooted in childhood emotional neglect or inconsistent parenting. Yeah, so that was yeah. In that case, I had to deal with limerence when I was a kid and that was not good. I did a lot of bad things that embarrassed me, and in some cases, more importantly, not all the time. Not all the time. It's not a bad thing to be like, oh, I am, like I care about myself most in this situation, but like I feel worse for the things that I put innocent people through. Like some of the girls that I crushed on that they were just like not into me and because of that I was like, "No, but please." Like, I told you I basically like I didn't like follow or like stalk her. It was more like I simped for a girl for the better part of like 4 or 5 years. And she didn't take advantage of me like crazy. There were a couple of instances, I'm not gonna lie to you, but she overall you could tell just like felt bad and wanted to be my friend. Like she just wanted to like she just wanted me to be okay and she felt bad and she didn't want to feel responsible for me like being all fucked up and stuff like that. And you know what? I still feel bad about that when I do think about it. I have spoken to her since and I've been like, "Hey, so here's the deal. This is what was going on back then and you got caught up in that and I'm very, very sorry for that. Like I feel so awful that I put you through that. That's terrible that that happened." And she was all cool with it and now like, we follow each other on Instagram and we like each other's stuff and maybe every now and again we exchange messages, but um yeah, it's I think back and I'm just like, man, what if I had like love? What if I experienced love instead of just like, well, hate, I guess. But the thing is it wasn't hate. It was something different. It was something other than hate, you know. At the time, that's the only way I could describe it, you know. But I definitely didn't experience love in that way. Anyway, Scott, how is Brazil now under the new political regime? Is it getting better? Or was it more of a hit piece and people still don't like the direction of the country? The country has been shitty for a long time and it's only getting worse. What's his face? Bolsonaro was the populist. Look, here's the thing: populism is bullshit in the first place. But if you're gonna have democracy, you might as well try to go for a right wing form of populism. And Bolsonaro was the closest thing to a right wing populist that Brazil had. Now, here's the deal with the Brazilian election that ousted Bolsonaro and installed the new guy, Lula. I called him the new guy. He's not actually the new guy. He was the president of Brazil a little while ago. I don't know exactly when he was president the first time and how long he was the president of Brazil, but he was the president in the past, and then he got locked up on some kind of corruption charges. He was found guilty. He was put into prison. He did prison time. Well, when Bolsonaro was running for re-election, the Brazilian Supreme Court decided that they would not only pardon Lula, so release him from prison, but they would nullify any part of Brazilian law that made it so that Lula could not run for office again. So, this guy who spent time in prison after being convicted of the crimes that he did against the people of Brazil, he ended up running for president again. I would assume that there was some kind of free and fair election type bullshit going on. And even if there wasn't, basically what happened was they bribed the people in the favelas to vote. Like, maybe not directly, although in some cases you never know, but maybe not directly, but in that way that politicians bribe people, with kickbacks and expanded welfare and this, that, the other thing, right? So that's why and how Lula is in power right now. When it comes to the direction the country's going in, I mean, it's going in basically the same direction it would if AOC was president today, or in 2028, let's say. Is what's her face able to run for president right now? AOC. Is she able to run for president right now, or will she be able to in 2028? I heard grumblings about that, but I don't know for sure. Um, it's just more of the same. Brazil is just more of the same, and it's always going to be more of the same because at the end of the day, and this is how my wife has described it to me, like people in Brazil don't care about anything other than wanting to party. That's basically it. They just want their churrasco and they just want their cerveja and they just want to enjoy life. And you know what? I almost kind of envy it a little bit because as a high cortisol man, particularly because of the way that I was raised. Like that's going back to the whole my parents fucked me up and parents like this will fuck their children up too thing. I'm a very high cortisol guy. I'm stressed out about a lot of different things. And the reason for that is because I can't fucking relax because my entire childhood was one of the second I relax, somebody comes in and they fucking thump me over the head, not literally, but figuratively. With like some stupid bullshit. Somebody's mad at me about something. I did something or I didn't do something and now I'm a piece of shit and I suck and I have somebody like raising their voice at me and there's just no peace. There's no peace. Even now, like when I visit here, I walk in, I see my parents and I'm kind of like I'm kind of like that inside. That's the feeling that I get in like my chest and my back is like, you know, excuse me. I'm just uncomfortable around my parents and I'm probably always going to be uncomfortable around them. I'm never going to feel like I can relax fully and completely. And that is a bad thing. That is a really, really bad thing. But going back to what I was talking about with Brazil, like, it's a very low cortisol country, a very low cortisol group of people. Culturally, they are low court, but i- that is a blessing and a curse. Where like, okay, we can just chill, and it's not that big of a deal if I don't get everything done right away or the right way, or I guess, or anything like that. It's bad because that's how you get a lot of people who will take advantage of you, and you'll just be like, "Nah, man, it's all right. Yeah, yeah, let's go to the vamos ao rodízio, vamos ao rodízio. É, é, tudo bem, vamos, rodízio, agora." What you're describing is called hypervigilance. In case you want to read up more on what you're feeling. Oh yeah, like I wouldn't have used that word specifically to describe it, but I understand it, on a conceptual level, Zach. You know, maybe I should look into it because you know what? That's something I've thought about for a while with like, you know, the differences between my wife and I. Like I love my wife more than anything, you know. And don't get me wrong, she does a lot of things that are like, if I'm being honest with you, unacceptable. They're just like not okay things to do by any metric, no matter how you slice it. Um but and I've done plenty of things that I shouldn't do too, right? But one of those things is like I do want to try to just fucking relax a little bit more. I do want to like for my own good as well as the good of my marriage is really what it is, you know. There's going to be newer and better AOCs. Yes. And that's you know, there's going to be newer and better AOCs. There's going to be newer and better Trumps, and I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. I mean like you know, Trumps that will actually do what they say they're going to do, you know. Oh, man. Warm Pepsi. Yeah. Do you think that attitude leads to the crime in Brazil and all the crime is how they express their anger? Uh, I think there are other issues that lead to the crime. What I think leads to victimhood is the way that a lot of Brazilians have this like, kind of attitude, you know? I shit you not. Like if you go to like a Brazilian store or if you go to a place with a lot of Brazilians, you'll notice that like they never do that. That doesn't happen. They just don't do that. You know, they'll see something in the corner of their eye and they won't think, "Oh, I wonder what that is," and check it out. That just doesn't happen. They don't do it. You know, I'm not saying every single Brazilian doesn't do that, but like you would be amazed at the lack of awareness that the average Brazilian has when out in public. So it makes it so fucking easy to just sneak up on them. You know, it's like no wonder they get robbed a lot. It's because they never think, huh, you know, we are in a dangerous place. Maybe I should, you know, keep an eye out. Me, the place I grew up in. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I didn't grow up in Detroit. I didn't grow up in Chicago, but I grew up in a place that was like not very good. Like there's shootings, there's stabbings, there's people selling fent, there's robberies and things like that. You know, you could get got. You got to be careful. Yeah, I'm sitting here going on walks at night, and I have to bring pepper spray. I'm a martial arts master. I'm a martial arts expert here, and I still feel a need to bring a force multiplier. And if I could have a gun, I'd have one, but it's not even worth it in this state at this point, you know? Um, like even me looking around, like I didn't grow up in Selandia, which is like the bad part of the city my wife came from. I didn't grow up in fucking the city of God or anything like that. I don't have to like it's not that serious out here, but it's serious enough. So I'm sitting here like walking around looking, I see somebody walking down like I see somebody walking in my direction, I cross the street just out of principle, you know. I don't just look and assume that it's just some other guy on a night walk. I like make sure I know like okay, all right, okay, what's this dude got? His hands are in his pockets. It's a little weird. Is he looking at me? I don't know if he's looking at me. He might be looking at me, but I also am just walking towards him right now. So, you know, I can't assume, but I also shouldn't not assume. You know, like that's what happens. You know, crazy. That's crazy. I missed a lot of chats talking about that shit with the bitch throwing ice. You know, life is the cross. It's sacrificing yourself for your loved ones. It's the real reason why people hate Christianity. It's not because it's heckin' mean. It's because it tells you the truth. Exactly. It tells you that you can't have everything you want all the time. That you have a duty to the people around you, and especially the people that you go into pacts in front of God with. You swear an oath before God to care for this person in sickness and in health through good and bad times until death do you part, you know? And a lot of people, they don't like the idea of that they can't just like up and leave whenever they feel like, that they actually have to sit down and work things out. And that means they're going to have to put in some effort. And it also means they're going to have to give some things up, because you're not just going to be able to get everything you want all the time with somebody else. You have to be willing to let somebody have something that you maybe didn't want to part with, you know? That's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes in the city of Compton. You know what's going on, Blitz Comet? Hope you're doing well tonight. Um, but yeah, and that's a big part of the problem with the world today, especially with women. With men, we kind of understand that we are supposed to sacrifice ourselves, and even somebody who is like a dopamine addict, somebody who's like addicted to porn and junk food, and who never wants to do anything that doesn't feel immediately gratifying. Even somebody who's like that, they kind of understand. If it's a guy anyway, they kind of get it, that like, okay, well, I might be called upon one day to lay down either my life or something else that I deeply, deeply cherish in order to do the right thing and be like a stand-up guy and stuff like that. It's kind of understood. And most people, even like the Reddit Americans, most people kind of realize it, and they know like, okay, I'm going to have to. I have to. But when it comes to women in particular, they are told, and again, this is why postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, postpartum anxiety is not a real thing. Most women nowadays are told that they never have to sacrifice anything, that they don't have to be willing to give something up for the people that they love, whether it's a family member or if it's somebody that they swore an oath in front of God to always be with until they die, or if it's, say, family. Family. I saw F yeah from Blitz Comet, and for some reason the word family came to mind. But um, whether it's like a child, right? Women are told that they are the center of the universe no matter what, and that they get everything they want all the time. They get it when they want. And if they cannot get what they want when they want it, well, then there is a problem. And that problem is probably related to a man. They just find the closest man that they can in their proximity, whether it's somebody they know well or don't know well, and they blame it on them, and they scream and cry, they throw a tantrum, or they just do what a spoiled brat would do, which is do it anyway and just like be like, whatever, I don't care, when you try to hold them accountable for that. And when it comes to a baby, having a baby is such a drastic thing that it is impossible to shirk, at least legally. You might be able to have, say, an abortion or something like that, but a lot of people don't want to have abortions, or they simply can't get abortions, and it's a good thing that they can't get abortions or don't want to have abortions. But when it comes to these women who they've been told that they are the center of the universe for their entire lives, all of a sudden they are decentered, is the word that I heard somebody on Twitter utilize. It was some stupid female who was like, if you think that postpartum depression only comes from women being decentered, you're wrong. But like, these women are decentered. They are no longer the center of the universe. Now it is the child. It is the child that they are having who is the center of their universe. And that ego death, that inability to continue getting what you want 24/7, 365, and throwing a tantrum when you don't want it, when you don't get it, excuse me, that will make a woman go insane. That will make a woman go fucking crazy. And that's what happened with Lindsay Clancy. And when I say crazy and insane, I don't mean literally like, crazy, insane, like, oh, she did hear voices. She is not guilty by reason of insanity. No, she absolutely positively knew what she was doing. I don't believe for a half second that she didn't know what she was doing. What I mean is it causes them to go into like a narcissistic fit where they start plotting and planning. And a lot of the time it just gets taken out on the husband, but you'll see it get taken out on the child sometime physically. And what I was talking about again with these types of women here, that's what happens most of the time, is the woman just like abuses, sometimes physically, but usually mentally. their child to the point where they grow up with some kind of weird complex where there is a large issue that becomes present in their lives and they are completely and totally incapable of like behaving normal, you know? Postpartum depression is not real. Postpartum anxiety, postpartum psychosis, right? Nobody has ever said postpartum psychosis before. That's a new thing that was created in order to try and run cover, to run interference for Lindsay Clancy. That's not a real thing. And even postpartum depression, I believe, only goes back to like the 70s or something like that. At the end of the day, if you're not prepared to not be the center of the universe, getting knocked off the center of the universe and being replaced by a younger version of you, essentially, that is something that the average spoiled bitch is not going to be able to deal with. And because of that, you're going to have these situations. And we just let them get away with it all the time. We just let them get away with it all the fucking time. We don't call them out on it. We don't like disallow them from being that way or anything like that. You know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, women are gonna ruin the world. It's just the way it is, and we just have to sit there and be like, you know, I think that's actually a good thing. You know, I think it's actually a good thing, and I think the most important thing is women and whether or not they feel like they have freedom. It's crazy. People are starting to figure something out that I've known for a long, long, long time. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on here. I've been streaming for like what's it been like 3 or 4 years now. I think it's been 4 years as of this like July since I've had this channel. Maybe not the streaming, but the channel. I've been doing this one for like, 3 or 4 years now. And I knew very early on that nobody actually cares about children. It's not just that women don't care about children, it's that nobody cares about children. And that's why children are so easy to traffic in that way, is because nobody actually gives that much of a fuck about them, right? Um, or if not traffic, then abuse and just like torture and stuff like that. There is no easier target than a child, not just because they can't physically fight back, but because the lack of agency combined with the fact that there's so many people out there that are just like, whatever. It's so easy for like some authority figure at like a school or like a daycare center to do some crazy shit to them, because if they even told their parents, a lot of the time they'd be like, you're just making it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I almost said, so many children get shooed away by their parents. So many children get dumped by their parents in like awful places, awful environments, awful people, awful situations, you know? Nobody cares about them. You're never going to see anybody take action to genuinely protect a child. And when women say things like, won't somebody think of the children, when they're trying to get some kind of legislation passed, it's just their way of trying to say, won't somebody think of my feelings? Because that's really what it is, and that's really who benefits 99% of the time. When a woman is trying to get something passed and she uses her child or children in general as a human shield, you know? People will watch children be abused by either their own parents or, say, like a foster parent. They'll watch them be abused by a school system that explicitly does not want them to like be able to survive on their own. They want them to sit down and shut up, so they'll give them tons and tons and tons of medications and things like that. People just don't care about children, is the bottom line, right? And a lot of people are starting to wake up to that fact that like women are not naturally more nurturing than men. They're not even like particularly good at it a lot of the time. And I'm not saying it's all women, but like if you look at it on average today, particularly, like there's not a lot of nurturing coming from women. There's not a lot of actually mothering coming from women today. It's just not really a thing that they do anymore. And then on top of that, you have this situation where like they fucking straight up hate their kids, you know? I'm not doing a good job of making the point. I know you guys understand the point that I'm making, because, the thesis is nobody actually cares about kids. and that people are finally starting to wake up to that, you know. But it's just it's crazy the amount of things you'll see happen that like schools and preschools and after school programs will get away with, that you know, parents will get away with, that like strangers will get away with, and it all happens just because this is a child and like they can't stick up for themselves, you know. That's why I got it so bad from my mom in the first place, and my dad, is because my mom and my dad would like, you know, my mom and my dad were both kind of fucked up, but like if they tried to give it to each other, well, you know, they could fight back. You know, not physically. My mom and my dad never hit each other or anything like that. I got spanked until the second grade, but after that, I didn't get touched. But like if they gave it to each other, the other person would just be like, "Fuck you," and leave. They would just like be like, Shut the fuck up, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. Don't hit me with that shit." But like, if it was me, it's like, well, where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? You know, that's you know, it's it's terrible. It's terrible. You know. They don't say I don't care. They say nobody cares because it's a consensus thing for them. Yes, immersion ruined. I don't know exactly what you were saying that to. I've been all over the place for the last like 3 or so minutes, and you know, I apologize for that. But I do agree that that is something that you know, women do, is they outsource to the consensus. You know, um, but yeah, you know. It's just awful, you know, the way we treat children, the way we let women get away with like literally fucking anything and everything they want, no matter how heinous it is, you know. I think we're finally starting to realize why every society that did well throughout history made sure that women were not handed the reins of power, and that they just did not have the ability to terminate pregnancy at will, or to like decide whether or not somebody was like good or bad or anything like that, you know. They say Islam is right about women, and you know, I hate to give any credit. I hate to give any credit to Islam here, but you know excuse me. Do you think part of the mass crash out of women is because more men are waking up to how they act? I mean, the thing is, it's not a mass crash out that's like a new thing. Women have been like this for decades and decades and decades now. I was a MGTOW from the age of, I want to say 17 or 18 up until the age of 25. I might have been 26, whatever age I got married at, right? And the only reason I stopped identifying as a MGTOW is because I got married. And, you know, you can't be a MGTOW and married. That's just not how it works, you know? But women have always been doing stuff like this. They've always been able to get away with like stabbing their boyfriends with like no jail time, not even an insanity plea, just like, yeah, I did it and I'll do it again. And then the judge is just like, yeah, that's all right. You can leave. You can leave. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't want to ruin your life. Literally, that's the excuse that they give, is I don't want to ruin this poor girl's life. She made a mistake. She stabbed her boyfriend. I don't want to ruin her life though. Like, that's the type of shit that you used to get all the time, and you still get it nowadays. And it is a situation where maybe a lot of people are only now just waking up to the way things are. But like, this right here, the way things are right now, has been par for the course for at least 60 years. For about 60 years, this type of shit has been par for the course. And just because 70 years ago it may have been a little bit better, it doesn't mean that women were like magically better. It's that they were taught to behave, right? At the end of the day, society and Christianity, right? They are methods of trying to tame the beast. We as human beings, both men and women, we have these natural urges that are extremely, extremely dark and sinful, and they dirty us. We are dirty for these things. We're dirty boys and girls, is what we are. And men and women both have different forms of these behaviors and impulses and things like that. And that's what Christianity, as well as like, you know, the social contract, I guess you could say, is meant to do. It's meant to help us to sacrifice those bad impulses and aspire to something greater, to something better. And because of that, like, yeah, sure, women may have been more well behaved in the past, but they were never good. They were never good. And for that matter, men are more well behaved, but we're not good. The thing is, women are allowed to misbehave nowadays, and that's what's going on, you know? Will you see women lashing out more and more to try and protect the monopoly on misbehavior that they have currently? Yeah, I'm sure you will. You know, I mean, it's already happening. What do you think Me Too was? Me Too was women lashing out because people were finally, even 10 years ago at this point, starting to wake up and realize, like, oh, I don't think women are okay. Are women okay? I don't think they are. I think they're having a bit of a hard time right now. People were starting to wake up a decade ago, and that's partially what Me Too was. It was a way to try and convince the mainstream that actually women have it tough. They totally don't have life on easy mode. No, no way, Jose. Nuh-uh-uh. Nope, nope. Actually, they're oppressed, is what they are. It was a way to convince the mainstream of that, and then also to stifle any dissent, while also being a form of color revolution, I guess you could say. Maybe not color revolution, but a form of great leap forward is, I guess, what you could say. It was a cultural revolution, Me Too. It was a great transfer of wealth and power from people who deserve it to women just for the sake of it, you know? Scott versus Chris Cyborg, book it. Dude, she's got a bigger dick than me. You kidding me? Fucking A. Man. I only got hit once, sucker punch for no reason, but my brother got it bad. Yeah, that's awful, Zach. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. You know, that's terrible. I used to get spanked for bad reasons too. You know, like I got the wrong kind of colored pencils, and my dad was impatient that day, and because I got the wrong set of colored pencils, he wanted me to get one specific set. I thought he wanted the other set, so I grabbed that other set, and I think he probably assumed that I was just fucking with him, or that I was like slacking, and that I was like, that the spanking would like wake me up or like get me to stop fucking with him or something like that. But either way, that's just one example of times that I had hands put on me as a child. Scott, Sonic is in Fortnite, a full POI that looks like Sonic Land. It's fucking crazy. That is pretty crazy. Is Sonic the Hedgehog himself? Is he running around with a scar? That's one of the guns that's in the Fortnite, right? Is they have like the Scar H or something like that. I'm pretty sure I've seen that in good old Fork Knife. In good old Fork Knife, kid. Fucking A, dude. Excuse me. Oh, okay. I got plenty of time to mull that over. Somebody made me an offer for something, and I'm like, okay, well, I might want to take that, but I'm gonna see if they'll give me an extra $5. If I can get an extra $5, I will really, really like that. That would be very, very good. Anyway, they had to make the Sonic skin awkwardly tall. That is funny, because that's what I was thinking, is like, there's no way they had like a legit like Sonic, like accurate Sonic skin. There's no way they would have that. Oh shit. Thank you very much, Bob, for the $10 Californian. For the 10 Californian dollars. That's what I think whenever I see CA is California for some reason. If a woman kills someone, the judge or cops are like, I don't want to ruin this girl's life, but would gladly ruin the life of an innocent man falsely accused, and it makes me sick. Society is legit evil. Exactly, Bob. And again, thank you very much for the $10. I appreciate that a lot of that. Exactly. I mean, it can only last for so long. I'll say that much. Excuse me. This can only go on for so long. Something will change eventually. The thing is, you can't attach. Oh, thank you very much for the $2. For the 2 Californian dollars, Bob. By the way, there should have been an accurate Sonic skin. Yeah, that would be funny. See an accurate Sonic skin. in Fortnite. But um yeah, things are gonna change, but you have to ride the tiger on it, you know? Like, you or I, there's no button we can press, there's no switch we can flip, there's no lever we can pull that is going to fix everything on a dime. Eventually, things will get back to normal because eventually the children will rebel against the current order, and those seeds are being planted now, i like, literally right now by people like Lindsay Clancy and things like that. You're going to get young boys who see this and they're going to be like, that's not going to be me growing up. And they're either going to exit the dating market or they're going to be like, I don't want any of you stupid bitches. And if enough, specifically high value men, are like, I don't want any of you stupid bitches, you're vapid, you're self centered, get the fuck away from me. If enough guys do that, you're going to start to see women sort of morph to become what they should be, I guess you could say, right? And is that going to be like a science? No, it's not going to happen exactly that way, but I do believe that that's how it's going to happen, is that eventually, in order to try and secure themselves, anybody, but especially, as high value of a man as they feel that they can, uh uh, excuse me, they're going to notice the disgust that men feel for the way that they are. And they're going to be like, oh shit, maybe I should shape up. But w- I mean, I would like for that to happen. I'll say this much. I'll say this much. I would like for that to happen. Is it definitely going to happen? I believe that there is room for that kind of thing. Right. Believe it or not, there have been plenty of situations where people have become more conservative. They've become more moral. They've become less degenerate, less fucked up, and things like that. But, um, like I said, that's not an exact science. If we want to really do something about it, we will reinstate home economics classes. We will reinstate classes and we will reinstate societal norms and pressures that force women to understand, okay, look, someday you're going to be a wife and a mother. Here is what you should do if you want a healthy relationship. No, you can't have everything you fucking want all the time, no matter what, you retard. Shut up and listen. This is what you got to do. Quit getting on his nerves. Quit doing self centered bullshit. Listen to what he asks you sometimes. Do the shit that he requests that you do. And stay the fuck out of the guy's way while adding to his life. Cook him dinner every once in a while. Listen to him talk about work instead of you just bitching about work all the time. Stop creating problems for the guy, you know? That would be the best thing that we could do, is reinstate those institutions that used to teach women how to be women. You know, that's the best thing that we could do. But yeah, I agree. The society will fall and a better society will rise. I won't black pill. That's why I'm a prepper and practice survival skills. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a straight up. I don't think it's going to be a straight up societal collapse, because I just don't think that's the way that that shit works. You know. Scott, can you call Bert and help him fix his audio? He is muted. We need Scott to attack the Bert streaming settings and help him. I don't have Bert's number. If I had Bert's number, I would never call that guy unless it was a star 67 type of deal. I would never let Bert have my number. No, 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 sir. No, sir. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a societal collapse, right? There isn't going to be like a collapse of Rome type of situation, because I just don't think that's how it's going to work. I just don't think it's going to happen that way, you know? Could society morph in a serious way, and could it happen at a rapid rate? Yeah, 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 it could. There's things that could happen, but the idea that there's going to be like and I'm not saying that you're saying this is what's going to happen, Bob. I'm just saying, like, there are people who think this way. The idea that, like, the government's going to collapse and, we're going to be running around in a woods, and we're going to have a civil war with the commies and all this other shit. That's not the way it's going to work. I just don't see that happening. I don't think that is going to be the way things go down. Um I think that it will be kind of a cultural revolution type of deal where you're going to have boys and girls probably of the teen and teenagers as well as like early to mid 20s, that age range between like 15 and 25. They're probably going to lead a change in the world in the way that a lot of the time that kind of thing happens. And like the way I'm saying it right now sounds like some kind of like, hippie peace and love. Like the youth, man, we just got to listen to the youth. The youth have the right idea, man. If we just listen to them, man, everything would be so much better, man. I'm telling you, man. Like that's not what I mean either. I think, like I said, it will be probably closer to a cultural revolution kind of situation. You're gonna see women being like tarred and feathered. You're going to see men being tarred and feathered. Maybe literally, maybe figuratively, maybe there will be other punishments, other shit that happens because of the failure to adhere to the new morality, you know? Maybe that's what'll happen. Maybe that's how it will happen. Who knows? But the bottom line is there's no way it's going to stay like this forever. It's not going to stay like this forever. It can't. It's unsustainable. You can feel everything is on its last legs now. And I don't even think everything's going to change now. I think we are just getting closer and closer to things changing. Oh, man. Excuse me. Thank you, Hey Watray Zero for the follow on Kick. I appreciate that. What's going on, Steadley 3668? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys, yeah, hope you guys, LOL, I wish it would go full Mad Max. That would be awesome, but sadly, it might not be that epic. It would be cool, though. Yeah, it'd be fun to have a Fallout experience, I suppose. Ooh, excuse me, jeez. We got a little under a half hour till I hit that 2 hour mark, and I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know 100% what to talk about. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. Sorry, just checking some shit out. Sorry, I'm looking at some stuff. All right, anyway. Rip Arde, who's Arde? Sometimes modernity beats you down so badly, all you literally have is hope. Exactly. It's not easy. It's not easy. Especially because a lot of these things are things that if you have more than like two brain cells to rub together, even if you only have two brain cells to rub together, you can kind of see certain things. And what it is that we've taken logic out of everything and we've added feels like everything is about vibes nowadays. And that's part of the reason you're seeing a rise in autism diagnoses is because we've removed what are objective standards and we've replaced them with arbitrary feelings for a lot of things. And because of that, if somebody gets caught off guard or if somebody is like a little confused about how to act in a situation, we stamp retard on their forehead, as if they're like a captured Roman slave with the FUG, for Fugit. But like that's the type of shit that we have nowadays, and because of that, like there's no talking sense into anybody. Like, have you ever tried to talk sense into a woman where it's like you start off with like literally, that episode of SpongeBob where they're trying to teach Man Ray how to be good? And Man Ray picks up Patrick's wallet. They do like an exercise and they're like, you see somebody drop their wallet. How do you act? And he picks up the wallet and he's like, excuse me, sir. I can't help but notice you dropped your wallet. Here it is. And Patrick's like, that's not my wallet. And they get into this weird like Abbott and Costello type bullshit. And he's like, pulls out his fucking thing and he's like, this is your license. You are Patrick Star. And he's like, yep, that's me. And he's like, I found this in your wallet. So this would be your wallet. He goes, that makes sense to me. And he's like, okay, so this is your wallet. That's not my wallet. Like, I'm Butch. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We'll look it up. We'll look it up. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to find it. We're going to find it.
Pat, get your wallet out. Okay, goodness lesson number 1. You see someone drop their wallet.
This is what it's like explaining something to a woman.
Now, what would you do?
Excuse me, sir, but I do believe you've dropped your wallet.
Doesn't look familiar to me.
What? I just saw you drop it. Here.
Nope, it's not mine.
It is yours. I am trying to be a good person and return it to you.
Return what to who?
Aren't you Patrick Starr?
Yep,
And this is your ID.
yep.
I found this ID in this wallet. And if that's the case, this must be your wallet.
That makes sense to me.
Then take it.
It's not my wallet.
Oh, you gimbal! Take back your wallet or I'll rip your arms off!
Wrong.
That's literally what it's like explaining anything to anybody today, but especially a woman, is like, you'll sit there and you'll be like, look, girlfriend of mine who I've been dating for like a month and a half now, I see that you're having a conversation with somebody on your Instagram. I wasn't snooping. I just happened to look over your shoulder and I noticed it was a man and you were sending some weird messages to each other. I don't want to be weird or anything like that myself, but that makes me a little uncomfortable. And as your boyfriend, I would appreciate it if maybe you don't talk to that guy either like that or at all anymore. And there is just no explaining anything to them because they don't care about what's right or what's fair. All they care about is like getting what they want all the time. So when you explain something to them that if you did to them, they'd be like, what the fuck? Over. They're like, okay, yeah, you're my boyfriend. And I'm talking to this guy and we're sending like weird emojis back and forth and we're being kind of flirtatious a little bit. Yeah, okay. You don't like that. Okay, I can see why you might not. What do you mean I can't talk to him anymore? What the fuck? Like that's what it's like talking to a woman today. You can't even try to get them to understand because they just don't care, because understanding means that they have to adhere to a set of principles or a set of standards or a code of conduct, and adhering to any of those things means that you're not going to get what you want all the time. Women are really just dopamine addicts today. That's really what the big thing is they're dopamine addicts, and just like any addict, they need an increasing dose. They need an increased dose of whatever it is they want at any given time to really get that same dopamine rush. And that's part of the reason. There's more to it than just this, but that's part of the reason why they do some of the shit that they do all the time. I've had girlfriends where it's like, I'm gonna tell you a story about a girlfriend that I had. Right, this is like almost a decade ago. We started dating and she had some issues with her Instagram where she was having inappropriate conversations with people. Right now, I should have just left her, is what I should have done. I should have just fucking left her. But I told her, hey, look, like, I really like you and I want to be with you and I don't want to leave, but like if I'm not going to leave, you're going to have to delete your Instagram. You can't have it. Like, you can have your Instagram or you can have me. It's up to you. You make the decision now. She says she'll delete her Instagram, and she does. I saw her do it, and I had proof that it stayed deleted because, if it got undeleted, if she reactivated it, excuse me, I would have noticed like, okay, there it is. She reactivated it. Okay. I can see it again. I want to say like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months later, she and I are talking and I was like, hey, look, if you want to have an Instagram again, like I'm totally cool with that. But I mean, like, given the severity of the things that happened with your last Instagram, I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to be checking it constantly, but I would at least like to know the password and to be able to check it if I ever do feel like I need to. I'm not going to constantly fucking check the thing. I promise you. I'm not going to overstep too far or anything like that. This girl, instead of just saying, yes, I want an Instagram, what she does is she decides she's going to make a fake Instagram on a spare cell phone that she had and then tell me, "No, I actually don't think I want an Instagram. I actually, you know what? I'm kind of enjoying not having an Instagram. I think it's better for me to not. I'm not even interested. You know what? Thank you, baby, for like being comfortable with me, for trusting me again with an Instagram. I don't think I need one. I don't think I want one." And she had one for God knows how long. By the way, she may have deleted her original Instagram and then immediately hopped onto a fake Instagram. You never know. You never know with how these fucking females can be a lot of the time. Um, excuse me. Like, literally the most unnecessary lie ever. Like, I told you, hey, you want an Instagram, it's cool. And I promise you I'm not going to check it all the time, but I would like to be able to because of the way that you've been. But if you want to have an Instagram, have an Instagram. It's fine. And then instead of just being like, sure. No, no. You know what? I don't even think it was I need a check. I think it was literally just like, let me know if you're gonna make one. That may have been the ramifications. Is like, hey, let me know if you're gonna have one. That's I think that may have been what I said. It could have been either of those though. But like, instead of just being like, okay, sure, she had to make it into a big fucking lie type of deal. And it's like, holy fuck, man. Yikes indeed, Steadily 3668. I have no clue what the fuck her problem was. You know? It's they just can't help but be sneaky because in order for them to be honest and truthful, that means they have to sacrifice something that they want. There's going to be something that they may want one day that they're not going to be able to say yes to, and it's usually going to be something that revolves around drugs or alcohol or strange dick or some other thing like that. That's usually what it's going to be, you know? That's just hypergamy for you. All major religions say the same stuff about women. That's how they lasted. They were patriarchal: Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, etc. Exactly, 100%, you know. The NT is very descriptive of the end times, so you already know what it will look like. What do you mean the NT, Zach? But I understand Catholics believe in it symbolically. Sorry, just looking around. Just a looking around, you know. Female Gooners says Steadily 3668. Yes, female Gooners, you know. The 7 bowls of wrath and the battle of kings of the earth at the mountain of Megiddo, Israel. Man. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. All I can say is the best thing you could do. The New Testament. The New Testament. Oh, okay. All right, okay. All right, yeah. I was like, the NT, what the fuck is that? What book is that? What book is that supposed to be? Is that Apocrypha? What's going on? Yeah. Like, I just hope that you guys find somebody who makes you happy, that like you don't have to constantly look over your shoulder for, because that's been a problem in my life when it comes to women, is that they either like and the thing is, if you're looking over your shoulder, you're not really happy. You know, you might in the moment feel good because you're getting the pleasure chemical when you're like interacting with them and everything like that, but you're not really happy if you constantly have to be like, huh? Because you're not sure when the next fucking thing is going to come around the corner and whack you upside the head with a mallet, you know? And that's what it's like dating a lot of women today, is like they just will not. It's not that they cannot, it's that they will not behave, because behaving means that they're going to have to sacrifice for you, and they don't want to sacrifice anything. They've been explicitly told that they don't have to sacrifice anything for anyone, no matter what. And because of that, it's just like you have to be hyper vigilant around these hoes, and it's like, jeez, you know, get the fuck out of here. Sorry. Oh man, there's this guy. I'm trying to sell something for $40. He offered for $30, and I'm like, oh man, oh dude, like what if dude, I could take this. I could take this. You know, um, I'm like trying to do some math in my head right now, you know? All right, yeah, 10%. So 10% of 30, that's, oh, that's 3, duh. So 37. Oh, no, wait, no, fuck. 27. I don't know. I might take that, but I'm gonna see if this guy will give me the 35. I'm gonna see if he'll give me the 35. If he says no to the 35, I think I'll cave. I'll literally just cave because I will make money. I just want to make as much money as I can off of it. And I know that either A, somebody is just going to straight up buy the thing, or B, somebody's going to be like, oh, I'll give you this offer. And if it's a better offer, then I'll just take that one, you know? I have a couple of days to figure that one out, you know? That is something that I do. Like don't get me wrong, I can't stand people who lowball. Like I get, like, I'm selling backpacks for $15 in some places. In other places I have to list them for more, or else I'm going to lose money on them. Um but I'm selling backpacks for $15. I have people trying to offer me like $9, $10. I have this one fucking guy. I have this one guy who's like literally, again, like I shouldn't bother reading you everything the fucking asshole had to say to me. But basically, he hits me up, doesn't even say hello. He's just like 10. I was like, "Nah, I could do like 13." Right? I'll come down a little bit, but I can't do 10. I got the bags for like 8.80 something each. I'm not gonna make $1 off the sale of this bag. I'm sorry, guy, it's not happening. But he's like, he doesn't answer me at first, and I do this little thing that I do to pressure people. I'm like, so when are you coming to pick it up? And he's like, oh, we could meet today. Could you come to me though? He literally asked me to come to him, and I was like, I could for the original 15 that I was selling this thing for. I should have been like, if you want me to come to you, it's 20, dude. You think I'm driving like way out of my way for 20, like for $10? No, like fuck that. I'll spend that much in gas probably. You know, the way gas is nowadays, forget about it. Um, and then we have this conversation where he's trying to convince me to give it to him for 10 without actually convincing me to give it to him for 10. Basically, it's like I was talking under the assumption that he was going to pay 15, and he was talking to me under the assumption that he was going to pay 10. And I know that I would have showed up like, all right, $15, please. And he would have been like, oh, I only have 10. This guy's like some kind of Middle Eastern. His name was like Abdul or some shit like that. So he was going to do the Middle Eastern thing where, oh, but no, we agreed 10. We agreed 10. Here you go. I only brought 10. You came all the way out here. Don't you want to go home with $10? You know, like he would have pulled that shit, you know. So I'm glad that I didn't bother to do business with this guy, you know, fuck him. But yeah, other than that type of shit, I do enjoy sort of like trying to make a deal with people, trying to haggle with them a little bit and see what I can get out of them. That's something that a few months ago I didn't really have the balls to do that. I was just kind of like, no, you know, I just wanted to be as smooth as possible, and I don't want to get into fucking arguments with people, and you know, blah blah blah, you know. Um, buddy, I only brought the $10. He opens up his wallet, he pulls it out, another like $20 flies out because he's pulling it out so quick it like gets stuck on his finger. I only have the $10, buddy. Oh my gosh. I counter offer $34.99. Then if they don't meet the offer, I raise to $34.98. And then if they don't meet the offer, I raise to $34.99. Then 35 is the final counter offer. Yeah, I've done that before where like somebody tries to like play hardball. So I'm like, all right, well, offer just went up. I was gonna give it to you for 20. Now it's 25. Sorry, buddy. Just mention price firm. Oh yeah, Well, the thing is I'm just trying to make sales, I just want to make sales so that I can get more ratings so that for one thing, like with eBay, I'm noticing things are starting to pick up a little bit where I'm getting more and more sales. And I would assume it's because I'm not like the newest account you've ever seen anymore. So I would assume that my stuff is probably being showed to people on eBay a little bit more than if I was still like a very new account with either zero sales or only like one or two sales, right? So my main concern right now, other than making the money, is trying to get 5-star reviews so that I can be better off in the algorithm and everything like that, so that I can be a little bit more trusted. And that goes for Facebook, that goes for Vinted, that goes for Mercari as well. And because of that, it's like, yeah, I'll work with you a little bit on the price, dude, but I didn't buy these backpacks to only make $1 off of them. I'm sorry, dude. It's not happening. I know I would spend more on gas if I accepted the $10. Like I will have made basically $9 back. That is what I put into it, and then I would have $1 in fucking profit. It's like I don't want the sales that bad is the thing, Oh, excuse me. Driving a black Lexus SUV, exactly, The $34. What do you mean $36? The best I can do is 40. You can buy penny items from a seller like once a week and get ratings that way. As in like what do you mean by that, Zach? You mean I buy items and the seller rates me as the buyer? I don't know maybe that's how it works. Maybe that's how that works. I don't know, but I figured it was only selling ratings as a seller that mattered for selling items. Maybe it does work that way. I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. Oh man. Scott, haggle him, channel your inner Samuel Hydestein, big nose, and haggle him. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna haggle the guy. I'm totally gonna haggle the guy. Also real. Hold on one second. Also, real talk. I don't like Christianity much, but it does get some stuff right. I definitely agree that humans are inherently dark if we let ourselves be. Oh yeah, 100%. The thing is, the secular interpretation of humanity is that we are animals that basically ascended from traditional or typical animal behavior, right? We don't walk around naked, foraging for food. At least most of us in most areas of the world, that's the type of thing that we do. We wear, clothing now. We tend to go to supermarkets, and if you don't go to a supermarket, you probably have domesticated animals that you get a lot of your food from. You probably aren't foraging for tons of berries and other plants and stuff like that. You probably have agriculture going on some level. But these dark things, these bad things that we do are the types of things that would be, I guess you could say, virtuous in the anarchy that is the primal form, the primal way of living. Trying to fuck as many hoes as you can fuck, or if you're a woman, trying to get used as a cum dumpster by Chad, by that top 1%. But if you got to settle for the top 20%, I guess you will. But you really want that top 1% if you can manage it. Stealing, swindling, like doing all of these awful things. They are the types of things that you could reasonably expect from an animal, from a not fully conscious being, because there's an argument as to what consciousness is, and some people don't consider animals to be conscious, right? But the bottom line is these negative traits are inherent to us as beings that are really just animals. We're primates. We're monkeys is essentially what we are, and that is the secular interpretation, not the Christian interpretation. the secular interpretation, I mean, you know, Christianity covers that pretty well. You cannot believe that Jesus died on the cross and rose after 3 days, you know? That's up to you. That's got nothing to do with me. I suggest you do believe it because it's true. But you can not believe any of the stuff in the Bible that talks about anything supernatural or metaphysical while also recognizing that a lot of the things that the Bible talks about that you should or should not do, there is a positive consequence for the things that you're told to do and a negative consequence for the things that you're told not to do if you decide you're going to do them, you know? And that's something that I noticed, and that's what helped me to kind of get further and further into Christianity, is that when I stopped fucking around in the way that I was for a long time, and I'm still not perfect. Obviously, I'm never going to be perfect. You know, I say still like I'm ever going to be perfect. I'm not perfect myself. I still do a lot of things that I should not do. I give into wrath as an example. That's a big one. But what's it called? When it comes to how my life has improved, when I started like adhering to what the Bible says on a lot of different things, I realized that like there are secular things that will occur. You know, there are rewards for you following the Bible that are, if not secular in nature, they are worldly in nature, I guess you could say. It's not just like, okay, I follow the Bible and like life sucks and it's boring and I never come anymore because I'm not allowed to fornicate and I also can't jack off. And then, you know, I die hopefully soon because 70 years of living this way, oh, that's going to be terrible. And then I get to go to heaven. It's not just that. It's really, I promise you, it's not just that. It's not just, life is bland and it sucks. No, life actually gets a lot better for you. All right. But anyway, what's going on? Two Hills Between, RSK. Hello. It's one of them. It's one of the PKA boys. How's it going tonight? How you doing, man? I talked to Taylor briefly last night. We didn't do a lot of talking. We just played some games, you know. Played a Lord of the Rings game. I haven't been gaming as much with Taylor and his buddies because we've all just had a bunch of shit going on, you know. Life has been busy for us, you know, but oh man, you know. I wonder who actually it would have been tonight. I wonder who was on PKA tonight. I do wonder about that. Who did they have? Who did they have on and why was it not me? Who they have and why wasn't it me, huh? What's Chiz's problem, dude? The fuck, man? Dude, I'm still so mad because like, and don't get me wrong, I was literally not the first choice to have on for PKA. I think it was like 800 or 900. I think it was 800. But I could have been on one of the 100 episodes, one of the centennial episodes. Somebody canceled at the last second and Chiz hit me up, but I couldn't do it. It's not that I couldn't do it. I would have done it, but he hit me up on Twitter as he usually does. And I was banned from Twitter for a week. And when that week-long ban lifted, I got the backlog of all the messages and tweets and other things like that got sent my way that for some reason did not update during the ban. So if you had the ability to just see the messages people send to you but not respond to them, that would be so much better, and I would have been able to be on PKA 800, because in that case, I would have read that text and I would have shot a text to Taylor right away. Hey, Chiz asked me to be on tonight. Tell him yes. I'm just not able to get on Twitter because I can't answer him through Twitter because I'm fucking sitting here on a ban, you know? It would have been so much better, you know? Seems like Taylor is constantly having home improvement issues. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going down with that. You know, hope he, I mean, he hasn't talked to us about it in a little while, you know. I don't know if he's done or if he's just like done talking about it, you know, but, yeah, there was, yeah. home improvement, you know. That's one of the things I'm not looking forward to when I have a house, is that, like, at the very least, when I have an apartment, I can call somebody who will then pay to have that person that they called come in and take care of it, you know. That is one thing about having a house, is like me, I'm afraid of heights, and I do want a 2-story house. It'd be really nice to have a house with 2 stories on it. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to get up there to fix a leaky roof. It's just not happening. I ain't doing that. I'm going to have to call somebody. I'll let somebody else risk their life climbing a ladder, you know? I'm willing to pay to do that. It's totally fine by me. Please and thank you, you know? Got to clean my gutters tomorrow. Yeah, that's something I could do, is clean gutters. That's one thing. As long as it's not like giant ass 2-story house, cuz you know, there's 2-story houses and then there's 2-story houses. When I was a chimney sweep, I had to clean some 2-story houses, and that meant I had to get up on the roof, and boy was that a tough one. But also, it didn't help that we didn't follow OSHA regulations. Like, OSHA regulations dictate that if you're going to be walking around on a roof, you need a harness. We never had harnesses. We also didn't really do anything to secure any of the ladders. We just kind of slap them right up against the house and just start walking up them. It was like the fucking craziest thing, you know? The most we did to secure the ladders was we bungee corded the top and we attached them to the gutters, which a lot of good that would do if a full-grown 185-pound man fell from the ladder. A lot of good that would do if a dude accidentally went too far left or right, you know? Good luck with that one. I did a bit of construction on rooftops, and not gonna lie, I didn't like it. Oh yeah, dude, I couldn't even stand up on the roofs. There was one roof that I could stand up on when I was a chimney sweep. I was a chimney sweep for, like, I want to say 3 or 4 months, maybe. It might even been less than that. That was somebody said I have the craziest stories. Chimney sweeping was fucking crazy, dude. Smoking weed before we go up on the ladders. And like the boss, I'm smoking weed with the boss. It was the boss, his brother. They were both from Ireland. And then there was this one dude that I knew from high school. We were on the wrestling team together. He was a senior when I was a freshman. And he was a heroin user, and I was not aware because I was naive to the signs of heroin use. This guy brought me to his dealer's house to buy heroin from him. He had me sitting out in the van waiting for him to get some H off of his fucking dealer. And then we're driving back into Boston and he's nodding off, like, in the driver's seat. In the fucking driver's seat, this fucking retard is nodding off. And I'm like, you want me to drive, bro? And he was like, yeah. So I end up driving, you know? That was like wild. We ran somebody off the road, and when I say we, I mean he. The thing is with that, I maintain to this day that was just a coincidence, and that somebody else overreacted to something that happened and rode off the road. Because what happened was, we're driving, right? And we shift lanes. And after we shift lanes, you could count like 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. There was something in the road. It was shaped kind of triangularly, if that's a word. And we didn't notice it until it was too late to try and avoid it. So we hit the triangular shaped thing. Now, when we hit it, we felt the van kind of, you know, jolt a little bit. It wasn't a jolt like we had hit somebody. We didn't cut anybody off. If we did, they would have ran off the road 3 seconds earlier when we were actually shifting lanes. Because I'm wondering what the fuck we just hit, I look into the rearview mirror. I see a car driving off the highway onto the side of the road. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck was that? Maybe they saw the thing that we hit and they were like, whoa, holy shit, and they swerved. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe we hit the thing and then they hit the thing, and that caused them to go like that. But they accused us of running them off the road is what happened. And like I said, I don't think we actually ran them off the fucking road. I don't think that's what happened. I think that person crashed their car because they were a bad driver and they just decided to blame the people in front of them, which, I mean, honestly, like, the guy that I was with was obviously not that good of a driver himself. He's hitting the rumble strip. You know, that's what's happening. But like in that case, it wasn't him, you know. Man, oh man. You know, that guy, he actually ended up getting fired because he fucked up one too many times, and then I ended up leaving because I obviously was no good to this guy if I couldn't be up on a chimney, you know. Why don't you play Warhammer? I don't know anything about Warhammer. You know, I know it's kind of a popular game, particularly for based and red-pilled guys. For some of the based, red-pilled, fashy chads. I know. Oh, excuse me. I know it's a pretty popular game for them, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, I know it's a pretty popular game, but I just don't know anything about it. You know, is it like an RTS game? I could have swore it was like a tabletop game. You know, I just don't know anything about it. My chimney needs rebuilt. Yeah. I did roofing for one day. The sun killed me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Nah, Warhammer is woke now. Leave it alone. Yeah, that is another thing that I heard, that it kind of went woke a little bit. Don't worry, Warhammer has plenty of liberal pearl clutchers. Of course they do. Of course they do, you know? It's a gay game. Well, then it sounds right up my alley. It's tabletop fish tank. Fuck yeah, that's so funny. Fish tank tabletop game. Final boss is Jet. The sub boss is Jet. The final boss is Sam. The new Warhammer game has a Troon writers, so I won't hold my breath. Oh, yes. Are we buying GTA 6? I didn't even buy GTA 4, let alone GTA 5. I think if I was going to get back into GTA, I would have to buy 4 and then maybe play 5 and then maybe get into 6. But I don't know. There's just something... Like, the Grand Theft Auto games never really appealed to me too much. I gotta be honest with you. I have played Vice City and I've played San Andreas. They were two magnificent games, and I did love the hell out of them, but there's just something about GTA 4 and 5 that I'm just like, I don't think I need to play them. I don't know what it is. I just can't bring myself to. Maybe I got to sit down and force myself. Maybe that's what I got to do. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna buy GTA 6. And if I will, I'll probably say fuck it. Let's go GTA 4, then GTA 5, and then GTA 6. You know, if they release it for PC, maybe. Oh yeah, that'll be a tough one. If they don't release it for PC, I guess I'm definitely not gonna be buying it. You know. Oh, that reminds me, some Chad hacker Ubermensch hacked Rockstar and leaked a whole bunch of stuff to punish Rockstar for sucking D and being anti-gamer. Yes. Oh, yes. You know, it's crazy. Like, what I was saying about women and how, like, the good thing to do, the right thing to do is usually, like, the easiest, most simple thing that you could do. It's crazy how video game companies and companies of all different, stripes, companies of all stripes, it's crazy how they are just, they're just fucked up like that. They just don't do the right thing the way that they're supposed to. And doing the right thing would be so much easier, and it would be so much more cost effective than doing the wrong thing. And it really just shows you where their hearts are, that they would rather go through the struggle that is doing the wrong thing. They would rather spend tons of money that they don't have to spend and lose tons of money they don't have to lose. They would rather go through people hating them. They would just rather be shitty that way, you know? It's crazy the way people are with this stuff. It's insane, you know? Vice and San Andreas were peak, anything more and you're a role player. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Rockstar posted the black square. Oh yeah, the black square for George Floyd in 2020 and shut down servers for 9 minutes or something dumb. Yeah. It was like, and that that's the funniest fucking thing about 2020 is that people tried to do all of this stuff where they were like, we're standing up for black lives, so they take a knee. The issue was that Derek Chauvin put a knee on George Floyd's neck and that is what killed him. That's their narrative, not mine, but like that's the narrative that they're rolling with. And their idea of showing solidarity is, hey, make like Derek Chauvin. Hey, make like Derek Chauvin, emulate Derek Chauvin. That'll show you really support George Floyd. That is the craziest thing. And then also, like, we're going to have a moment of silence. We're going to have a gamer moment of silence that you're not able to skip or not take part in. No matter who you are or where you are, the next time you log into GTA online servers or, Modern Warfare online servers or whatever, we're going to have a not even a 10-minute. They did 9 minutes because wasn't it like, oh, Derek Chauvin had his knee on Floyd's neck for like 9 minutes or something like that. So they were like, we're gonna do it right down to the second that Derek had that knee on George Floyd. It's like, man, that is fucking bonkers. Thinking the optics of that are like a good thing, but that's the thing is they got away with that because it was a situation where it wasn't about like how tone deaf what they were doing was. It was about showing that they were part of the anti-bad guy, good guy narrative, right? They were kowtowing to the narrative. They were showing, hey, I'm not a squeaky wheel. I'm not a squeaky wheel. Please don't grease me. Don't grease me. I'm not a squeaky wheel. I promise. Here, 9 minutes. We're going to take a knee for 9 minutes, just like Derek Chauvin did. Except we don't support that. We're actually against it. And that's why we're doing it, is because we feel bad for George Floyd is what it is. That's what it is. It's like, man, oh man, 2020 was so fun. Yeah, in hindsight, it's like looking back, you can almost laugh at it a little bit, but like just like with the Charlie Kirk situation, which is a year is coming up. We are less than we are only like I think 20 or 21 days, maybe a little bit more or less away from the 1-year anniversary of Charlie Kirk. And this is just like it's like what Nick Fuentes has said, right? I keep getting Nick Fuentes clips recommended to me, and like one of the things that happened that we all are well aware of is that we had like a maybe month or 2-month long mandate of heaven is what we had. We had like a mandate of heaven that said get them, that said get those shit lib retards, get their asses, get they ass, grease them, not literally but figuratively. You get what I mean by that, right? And we were just like, nah, that's what 2020 should be. That's what Charlie Kirk should be, is and I'm hoping, I don't think this will happen, but I'm hoping what will happen is that with the year anniversary of Charlie Kirk, we will see an uptick in the amount of people who are so energized that they're willing to call people's workplaces and get them fired for making fun of Charlie Kirk, because you know that they're gonna like, they'll probably make jokes like Happy National Neck Day or something like that, right, on a fucking September 10th, which is, of course, when Charlie Kirk got shot last year. They'll probably pull some fucking bullshit like that, Now would be a good time to start whipping up the frenzy. Now would be a good time to be like, oh, you don't think it's a tragedy that Charlie Kirk got shot? You think it was actually a good thing? Good luck trying to feed yourself. Good luck trying to... I hope you don't have kids. I mean, you probably don't because you're an abortionist, but hope you don't have kids. Good luck trying to feed yourself, Charlie Kirk, Charlie Twerk. That's exactly the type of shit some fucking liberal fucking retard I've been using that word a lot, retard. It's I don't want to overuse it because it loses its punch, but you know, like it's the perfect way to describe them. You know, they would probably think up some stupid shit like that. You know, I still can't believe it's been a year. Feels like it's only been 5 months. Is time moving faster? I feel like time's moving slower. For me, it feels like it happened like 5 years ago. You know, maybe not five, but you know, a much longer time ago is what it feels like. And you know, it's just crazy. You know, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. You know, man. But anyway, I retard is a medical term, can't be offensive. Yeah. Admitted my friend about Charlie Kirk's death, and he said, "Why can't I be happy about him dying?" And we just had to get in this conversation about him being an agitator and trying to justify his killing. Yeah, I don't think that's I wouldn't call that person my friend. I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest with you, Scratch Coast. I think if you're the kind of person who sees Charlie Kirk getting shot in public, videos that his children will definitely grow up and they will see the moment their father died, if they haven't already, if somebody hasn't found a way to try and get them to see those videos, because that's how deranged and despicable the left wing is. If you're one of those people who's like, Charlie Kirk, actually, that was a good thing, it's like, nah, I don't think I want to be your friend, you know. Not only that, I think I might want to give you a pat on the back if you and I were in public together. I think if you and I were, I think I might want to go, "Hey, buddy," pop, pop, on your back. You know, just pat on the back. "Hey, buddy, nice to know you. I gotta go. I don't think we can be pals anymore." That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I give him a pat on the back, a firm handshake, maybe a hug goodbye, and be like, "Hey, we can't be pals anymore. Sorry," you know. It was really scary seeing people celebrate Kirk's demise. Made me sick. Oh yeah, you know, I went to one of the candlelight vigils, and it made me nervous because it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen here? Is somebody going to get fucking shot now? Because you know, apparently that's just what is normal now. It was normal, and that's the real tragedy. I mean, other than the tragedy of Charlie Kirk dying, somebody dying, that's one of the other aspects of this tragedy that like people really have to contend with, is that Charlie Kirk dying and nothing serious happening to the left wing means that it's going to happen again and again and again and again. It's going to continuously happen. You're going to start seeing other people. Don't be surprised if Alex Jones is walking through wherever he happens to be at any given time and he gets popped. Don't be surprised if Nick Fuentes is next. Don't be surprised if any of these people happen to be next on the list in some way, shape, or form. That should not surprise you. And the thing is, if it happened to Charlie Kirk and the only thing that happened was there was like a week or less of like, "Hey, you better not say anything or else you're going to get fired." Not like, "Oh, we're locking people up and they're never going to see the light of day again. They're going to be in a completely black room for the rest of their lives. They will not see light unless it's to open up the little sliding thing to slide their food through the hole and then close it immediately." Like the fact that that is not what happened just means that it's going to continue to happen again. It's going to keep on happening, and people are going to be punished less and less for it because that's the way it works. You know, think about the first person to get banned. By the way, what's going on? Aria James 6. Hope you're doing well tonight. But think about the first time somebody got banned from YouTube for speech that YouTube decided they did not like. Think about that. It was like maybe 2015 or 2016, maybe 2017. And we're not talking like people yelling "Hail Hortler" or anything like that and throwing Romans or anything, right? We're not even talking about anything crazy like that. We're just talking about people who are like, "I like Donald Trump." People who were that kind of politics guy were getting banned from YouTube. And think about the reaction. The reaction between that and a couple of other things that were happening on YouTube, it caused people to say, hey, this is not okay. There was a big backlash. A lot of people were like, we got to do something about this. But nothing really happened. You had a couple of people who tried to make YouTube alternatives. I remember VidMe was one. BitChute came out of this. Rumble came out of this, right? You had stuff like that, but overall, there were no real major consequences that occurred that made anybody rethink what they were doing or anything of that sort, right? And because of that, when the next person got banned, yeah, there might have been a bit of a kerfuffle, but not like when the first person got banned and then the third person got banned, and there was even less of one. And then eventually it just got to a point where it's like, well, I mean, people are getting banned left and right, and nobody's doing shit about it. Nobody even acknowledges it anymore. It becomes normal, is what I'm trying to say. Political assassinations from the left wing to the right, or just anybody who disagrees with that specific leftist, are going to become normal. They are going to be normalized. They are already well on their way after the Charlie Kirk thing happened, and we didn't mass arrest left-wingers just for having fucking even Antifa flags, you know? Just having an Antifa flag should have put you on a list, you know? But hey, it is what it is, you know? Have you talked about that mother who killed her 2 children and blamed the father for it? Yes, we talked a little bit about that in the beginning, you know? It's, I mean, hey, that's the way these women are. That's the way these women are, you know? It's unfortunate. Alex Jones, employee, was killed about 2 years ago, shot dead in Austin outside of his apartment. Oh, yeah, I feel like I remember that. And that's another thing, too, is that political assassinations have been taking place for years at this point, too. Like, I can remember when Jay Danielson, I forget the name that he went by, but he was a Proud Boy who used to roll with Joey Gibson's crew in the Pacific Northwest. Those were guys that were, like, fighting every fucking weekend back during the street activism days between 2016 and 2021. And one day, Antifa just decided they would fucking shoot one of them dead. And this dude's name was Jay Danielson. Like I said, I forget what his code name was. He used to go by an alias, not like a straight up code name. It was like, you know, like if me, Scott Sullivan, I decided I wanted to go by Tom Smith just to keep you guys from knowing my name is Scott Sullivan, right? That's the type of thing that he did. But yeah, like that dude was allowed to get away too. Like the guy that shot Jay Danielson, he was allowed to just like escape. Portland or Seattle, I forget which police department it was. They were just like, nah, we're not going to look into this as hard as we probably should. And then eventually, like some outside police force or something like that, they went to get the guy because they found out where he was. And I forget if he killed himself or if the police ended up killing him, the shooter of Jay Danielson. You know, like that's an example of left wingers, you know, assassinating someone. They tried to kill Andy No. They tried to kill him, you know. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's because the right has no balls. They think they're better for letting themselves get boned. It's just Kantian cowardice. Exactly. You know, and I'm not saying the right wing needs to start, like, you know, doing anything violent themselves or anything like that. But you know what? Self-defense is self-defense. And if somebody's coming after you, there's no reason for you to take punches to the head and then try and act like that's what Jesus would have did. If you tried to fight Jesus in a real way, not like a slap across the cheek. I mean, like you start throwing down with Jesus, you think you wouldn't have gotten the shit kicked out of you? You got to be kidding me. You thinking that, you know? But there's a lot of people that are like that. There's a lot of people that do that type of thing, you know? I guess I might as well stream until the 2:30 mark because it's already 2:26. 2 hours and 26 minutes, you know? Andy No is my friend. The Republican congressional baseball game shooting under Obama. Oh yeah. And I forget who got shot, but it was like, wasn't it like a Supreme Court justice or something like that got shot? Like political violence. There's a monopoly on political violence by the left wing, and there should be a monopoly on the right when it comes to self-defense. You know, because the right is not violent. The right is a very non-violent, even like the swastika guys, even the like National Socialist, fascist, whatever guys, like they're largely nonviolent. You have small groups of like dumbasses that, you know, they're more interested in just being edgy, just feeling powerful and things like that. They don't actually have a real political bent to them. They're just utilizing much in the way, much in the way that Satanists claim they don't actually believe in Satan. A lot of these people who are like, I'm a National Socialist, they don't actually believe in National Socialism. They're just utilizing the iconography and the imagery of that lifestyle or political belief system to try and shock people is really what's going on, right? But the right has been incredibly nonviolent considering how much violence has been perpetrated against it by both the state as well as non-state actors such as Antifa, and whatever modern incarnation exists of them, right? And it's, look, I'm not saying that violence needs to start, like I said, but like if somebody's coming after you that way, like, you know, all I'm saying is I don't want to end up on the internet getting my ass beat by a tranny, not because the tranny's tougher than me, but because I'm like, I'm not going to hit you because I'm non-violent. Like, no, I'm going to beat the fuck out of that tranny if they think they're going to put hands on me. You kidding me? I'm going to break them in half in self-defense, because that's the thing. I'm not particularly violent myself. But if somebody's pushing and I really feel like I have to hurt this person in order to stop them from hurting me, I'm going to do that, you know? But, you know, we live in a cool world where self-defense is criminalized half the time. And that's the thing you kind of have to get over, is the understanding that, like, yeah, if I protect myself, there's a good chance I might end up in jail. You have to be comfortable with that if you're going to survive in today's world. How often do you find yourself in a fight? I've actually found myself in a couple of situations lately. They didn't escalate to fights, but like, I will say I've been in a couple of tense situations lately with a few different people, but it never escalated beyond, hey man, don't talk to me like that. That's all it did. You know, I stood up for myself. I was assertive. I said, hey, don't talk to me like that. And it mostly just ended there. Right? But like when it comes to like physical confrontation, how many of those are you getting into every year? Every 3 years, every 5 years? Like the last time I was in a real physical confrontation was 2019, and that was in and not an MMA fight, a kickboxing match. You know, you're not always gonna be fighting someone, you know. So it's like when it comes down to it, like you're rarely ever going to be in a self-defense situation. So there's really like if you are in one where like somebody is physically aggressing upon you, it may be best to just understand that, like, okay, what I'm doing might get me put in jail, but I would rather be in jail unharmed than either going home with physical and mental scars, or worse, depending on how committed this person is, or just how lucky they get when they hit me, in a fucking morgue getting ready to go into the ground. You know, they say it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. And like, that's such a gun asshole thing. That's such a FUD gun asshole thing to say. But there's a truth to it. You know, I would rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. You know, it just is what it is. Scott, would you teach technique first, then roll, or roll first, then technique? Today was a Hawaiian comp class, so everyone went hard and we did technique for the last 10 minutes. I think if we're just going to roll, we should just roll. I don't see a reason to roll and then do technique. I feel like that's a weird one. Unless it's like we're rolling and I notice everybody's getting hit by the same shit. And I'm like, okay, here we are. I guess I got to go over this thing so that everybody can make sure that they're not going to like be fucked up and everything like that. That's one thing. But yeah, I would rather do technique than roll. You know, if I'm going to start classes with rolling, we're just going to roll the whole class is usually what's going to happen. But I mean, you know, like I don't know how they do things over in that gym in Hawaii. You know, they have their way of doing things, and I'm sure it works well for them. Right. So, you know, it may not be my way, but my way is also not the only way. One of the best quotes I've heard is that someone who is capable of violence but chooses not to use it is peaceful. Someone who cannot use violence is harmless, not peaceful. Exactly, you know? By the way, Donut Operator is gay. He's the ultimate lame FUD archetype. I hate FUDs. Me too. I can't stand FUDs. I cannot stand FUDs, you know? Fucking annoying people. When you bring a gun that is unloaded and like cleared, this is the one time I've been to a shooting range, right? I was driving around New Hampshire with a friend of mine who lives up there. There was like 2 or 3 of us. No, there was 4 of us, excuse me. And we decide we want to go shooting. Now in New Hampshire, depending on where you're at, you can just go into the woods and start shooting and you're good as long as you're far enough away from the nearest like building. You're pretty much good, right? But what's it called? Like we didn't have a situation like that. So what we did instead was we decided we would go to a gun range. We get to the gun range. My friend has his AR. It is clear. It's cleared is the only way I could say it. There is no magazine. The slide it wasn't pulled back, but like we knew there was nothing in there, right? It's not like he walked in with it like pointing it like that, like, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, handshake, shake the barrel of the gun. Haha. He literally walked in with it like this, and he pointed it at the ground. He pointed the barrel towards the ground, and they started fucking yelling at us about it. And we were just like, what the fuck? All right, let's get out of here. Literally just like gun stuff. And I'll say this because this has been something I've been thinking about for a little while. Gun stuff and military stuff is the biggest blowhard thing because you have people who they have some kind of hang up when it comes to being an expert or being an authority. When it comes to gun stuff, but especially military stuff, they feel that they have something they can lord over the average person. And this is especially true with military stuff, but we talked about gun stuff specifically. I'm trying to segue into that a little bit, right? So what you get with a lot of gun guys is, they treat their opinion as though it's like the Bible, as though it was a commandment that got sent down from God to Moses on the mountain and everything like that, right? It's crazy. But when it comes to military guys, I'm especially sick of those guys because you know what? Every military guy I've ever known that's fought, he was over in the sandbox or whatever. They say they wish they were back there. Every military guy I've ever met who was in like Vietnam or the Gulf War or the War on Terror or anything like that, they say, man, that was the best time of my life. I wish I could go back. Military life is so fucking boring. War is fun, and I'm fucking tired of pretending that it's not. I may have never been, but you know what? Everyone I know who's been there and came back, it was like, man, I'd give anything to go back there, man. The memories and the this and the that and the other thing. The only time they do the war is hell, man, you don't get it, man thing is if you are not in the military and you start talking about war, even if it's not like I know about war. Haha. I played Call of Duty. I know about war. Even if it's not that, even if it's very respectful, like, oh man, it sounds like you made a lot of memories there. It sounds like it would have been a crazy experience. I wonder what it would have been like if I was over there. Like if you start talking like that, they get really, really fucking defensive because what it is, it's their ego. It's their way of being able to say that there's something about them that is special and it's different from everybody else out there. And they have some kind of expertise or some kind of they have an expertise or they have an understanding of something that the average person does not and cannot have. And if you, as somebody who was not in the military, who was deployed there, try to have any kind of opinion on it, they're gonna flip shit at you, And I'm tired of that shit. It's so fucking annoying, Yeah, that's what my gym at home usually does. Also, all of those self-defense and Kempo gurus tend to forget that the law will intervene if you kill the guy with whatever killing technique they teach you. Oh yeah, for those guys, much like knife guys, it's a hobby is what it is, Most guys who are into knives, like me, I won gold at a knife fighting competition. right? I didn't win gold at a knife fighting competition and go, haha, that's right. Now I better start carrying a knife because apparently I'm Mr. Master or something like that. No, I was like, all right, well, that's cool. Anyway, moving on. I'm not going to stab the fuck out of somebody. I'm not going to start carrying a knife just in case I have to use it in self-defense or anything like that. Like I'm all set. It was cool. I won the competition. I don't need to be a knife guy now. I'm good. Government property behavior exactly. Never use a public range. I learned the hard way, man. That was really annoying walking in there. Who would have thought that somebody would bring a gun to a gun range? Huh. Wow. I guess that was an asshole move. I guess that was a dick move. I Hey, could have fooled me. I figured it's a gun range. That would be the place to bring a gun. But no, no. I guess not. You know what the funniest thing is? Any civilian who trains enough can become equal and sometimes better than any soldier or operator with enough training and discipline. You don't need military training to be a badass or a skilled gunslinger, excuse me. Oh yeah, exactly. It doesn't take that much to get better than the average soldier at unarmed combat. Like if you train like not even 6 months if you train not even 6 months at like a jujitsu gym, you could outroll the average like US Army soldier and even a lot of like the Rangers and like a lot of other groups of people because they're not unarmed combatants and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's all good. They don't need to be. They got guns and knives and other weapons, right? But like, it's just funny that people, including a lot of these like army guys, they think that they're gonna be like, fucking Jackie Chan or something like that. And then when they realize, oh fuck, maybe I don't actually know what I'm doing, they'll usually fall back into the tactical FUD bullshit where they'll be like, yeah, I mean, why would I want to fight somebody anyway? I could just fucking shoot them. Why would I waste time learning how to punch somebody when I could just pull out my gun and I could just shoot them. Fucking what, we live in the 21st century, man. We don't need to fight with fists. Like they love to do that when they realize they don't actually know how to fucking fight. It's crazy. That's the funniest part about this. You can become extremely dangerous without ever being in a military. Yet military FUD types act like they had a magical power up. Yeah, all you did was wake up early for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks. That's all you did. You woke up early in the morning and you went for a run in formation, and then you went for like a walk with a 40-pound pack on. Like, is it shit that I would want to do? Nah, I think I have better things to do than to go for a walk with 40 pounds of gear on. I think there's better things I can do than that. But you know what? Don't act like you're special. Don't act like you're like God's gift to the world or that you have something that I don't have. You score the lowest score on the ASVAB, or you get a waiver. I didn't know that was a thing. You can get an ASVAB waiver, which means I would assume you either don't take it, or if you took it and you got such a low score that you technically shouldn't be allowed into whatever branch you're trying to get into, and yet you're still able to get in there. You're still able to slide on in there because you got a fucking waiver. It's like, ooh, man. And you think you're gonna be something special? Like, get out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face, Thoughts on UFC BJJ? I actually know one of the girls. I used to know one of the girls that was on there tonight. I'm not going to tell you which. But yeah, I got to be honest with you. Like, that's literally the only reason I've ever checked in on UFC BJJ, and I've never actually watched a match. It was just, oh hey, I know that chick. I used to train with her. She went to my gym years ago. Interesting. Okay. I wonder how she's gonna do. She actually, no, I don't know if she won or lost tonight. I didn't actually check in. To see. Like, whoops. But yeah, that's the only reason I would usually just check Twitter to see like, oh, did she win? I wonder if she won. Let's go ahead and take a look. But yeah, UFC BJJ is just like, it's it's stupid, you know. I don't think UFC BJJ is a good thing. I think it's just gonna further make jiu-jitsu into like a shitty joke of a martial art when it used to be a very serious, very well-respected martial art. You know, the public opinion on jiu-jitsu has been in the tank, in the fucking toilet for a long time, and UFC BJJ is going to be Dana White flushing the toilet is basically what it's going to be. That's my opinion of it, you know. Ukraine wars, white men dying to Chinese drones. Yeah, it'd be nice if Ukraine would stop. Not Ukraine meaning the country. I think Ukraine has all the right it needs to defend itself from Russia, right? When I say I wish Ukraine would stop, what I mean is I wish the war would stop, you know? I don't want to get into that fucking conversation. If you wanted, I guess we could talk about Ukraine, Russia, but we would do that next time. We would do that next time is what we would do. If I was training wrestling for 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday for 8 months straight, nonstop, by an expert wrestler, I would have been able to easily defeat 99% of soldiers in unarmed combat. You wouldn't even need that. You wouldn't need 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday for 8 months straight. You could train. I was beating the fuck out of my Army Ranger friend. I was maybe a baby blue belt, meaning I had just gotten my blue belt. And even before that, I was a white belt, and we would roll, and I would still like be catching him in arm bars, like effortlessly, not like, oh man, I really got to fight for this. Like he just was making mistakes that were so obvious that even like a 2-stripe white belt like myself was able to see and be like, oh, okay, whoop, snatch that arm. Oh, hey, triangle choke. Oh, I took the back, rear naked choke. Haha. Like it's crazy how little even like the dudes that are starting to move up the ladder, like the Rangers, it's crazy how little even those guys know, you know? I could use a BJJ right now. Me too. Oh, man. But I should probably get out of here. I was supposed to get out of here at the 2:30 mark, but it is close to the 2:45 mark at this point. Yeah, thank you everybody who tuned in. I don't know when I'm going to be streaming next. It was a little weird this week. I usually would stream Tuesday, Thursday, but I only streamed Thursday. I actually planned on streaming last night, but it just did not work out between a couple of different things. I do appreciate the hell out of you guys. You know, you get away with 4 hours a week for 2 years and still win. Not even 2 years, like 6 to 8 months. 4 hours a week for 6 to 8 months. That's more than enough time to beat the average U.S. serviceman or woman. You know, they're just not unarmed combatants, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say that as like they fucking suck and they're losing. Like that's not even what I'm saying. Like they just. You are something or you are not something. They are not unarmed combatants. That's not what they're here for. There's no shame in it. It's all good. But their egos trick them into believing they have some kind of superpower where anything combat related they're going to be good at, better than the average person who did not go through an 8-week boot camp. And it's like, no, nope. Incorrectamundo. But anyway, like I said, I do got to get out of here. Okay, I appreciate the hell out of you guys, as you know. I don't know when I'm going to stream next time, but it will be soon. It will be on the soon side. And yeah, till next time. Peace out.
Suck Sullivan, don't mess with his load, or you will get undone. Spinning round and round, bleeding on the ground. Scotty Rocker, laundry killer, no remorse in this beamer. Fabric assassin, hood cleaner, coming for your Rasta queen. Rape on the washing machine, no use to fight back. MMA, knock your nigga head like a KKK. Hush your nigga mouth if you can't walk the talk. Smokes, me running really fast. Ginger eye round the back of me black ass, chasing me like a devil, pot belly of the beast. Calling me a dickhead, there is no resist. Closing inch by inch, got me in a pinch. Modern day Scotty Rocker laundry lynch. No use to fight back. MMA, knock your nigga head like a KKK. Push your nigga mouth if you can't walk the talk. Smoke. Me running, really, really fast. Ginger eye on the back of me black ass, chasing me like a devil, pot belly of the beast. Calling me a dickhead, there is no resist. Closing inch by inch, got me in a pinch. Modern day Scotty Rock a laundry lynch. Chasing me like a devil, pot belly of the beast. Calling me a dickhead, there is no resist. Oh, close, smoke, me running really, really fast. Ginger eye on the back of me black ass, chasing me like a devil, pot belly of the beast. Calling me a dickhead, there is no resist. Closing inch by inch, got me in a pinch. Modern day Scotty Rock a laundry lynch. Or you will get turned out. No, 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 no. Suck Sullivan, don't mess with his load, or you will get undone. Spinning round and round, bleeding on the ground. Scotty Rocker, laundry killer, no remorse in this beamer. Fabric assassin, hood cleaner, coming for your Rasta queen.